In a crowded underground market lit by neon signs, an organ shop sign appears with a price list showing kidneys and corneas. Inside, Jero, a phantom blade, questions Alex after he has donated multiple organs before. Alex says he is fine as long as he can save his sister. As a cleaver is raised, he is told to hold still and then followed by his screams. Soon after, Alex staggers out of the room and clutches his body where the organs were taken. He looks around and realizes that no one has followed him. His injury suddenly seals itself as flesh rapidly regenerates. Later, Alex holds the money he earned and states that it should be enough for the transfer ritual. He then runs through a dark alley and admits that he made it all up, confirming that he does not have a sick sister, and he is an orphan. In his world, monsters and dungeons are everywhere, making survival difficult for someone like him. Everything changes when he discovers his unique ability. Alex can regenerate even from severe injuries, allowing his body to recover within minutes. Alex grips the money he earned and recalls his vow to grow stronger and protect what matters to him. The class transfer ritual has arrived, and Alex feels excited until teacher Wang notices him with surprise, knowing he could not afford the ritual. Alex lies and explains that he had to take out a loan just to be there. Alex's classmates whisper that his future is over if he ends up with a useless profession. The teacher urges Alex to hurry as the class transfer ritual is about to begin. A glowing orb rises as the ritual starts before a large crowd of students. Principal Gosh calls the next student as the process continues. He calls Dayu, a poor student from class 5, who walks forward to take his turn. Dayu places his hand on the glowing orb as Principal Gosh tells him to relax his body. The orb reacts as light surges upward, revealing that he has awakened a support-type class, Poultry Breeder. To stop him from being discouraged, Principal Gosh explains that support classes are not useless and asks everyone to calm down. Nini, a popular fire mage, is called next. The students react with excitement and praise her like a goddess. Principal wishes Nini good luck as she steps forward and thanks him in return. Flames erupt as her class awakens and reveals a powerful fire mage ability. Gosh announces her result as a SSS rank fire mage, drawing attention from the crowd. The surrounding students react by praising her talent and calling it impressive. Watching from the side, Alex thinks she is lucky as she can rival an entire army. Gosh tells Nini that her class transfer is complete and that he will discuss her training plan later. Alex is called up next, determined not to become Nini's side character. He places his hand on the orb, having waited a long time for this moment. His gaze sharpens as energy begins transferring from the orb into his body. A surge of icy energy erupts from the orb as Alex's class awakens, filling the area with frost. The power continues to rise, sending waves of cold outward. As the manifestation takes shape, Alex stands at the center of the light as the awakening stabilizes. Nearby students react in shock, questioning what kind of class this could be. Gosh watches closely and begins to announce the result as Alex waits for the verdict. The principal reveals that he has awakened a Forbidden Curse Master class. The announcement leaves everyone stunned as nearby students react in disbelief. Whispers spread through the crowd as they question how such a class could appear. Nini watches closely and comments on how unusual his result is. Alex stands quietly as he listens to his classmates muttering in fear and disbelief about his class. Gosh tells Alex not to think negatively and reminds him that curse masters are rare. Alex thanks him respectfully and shows no concern over his curse class, since his regeneration ability makes him practically immortal. He then wonders aloud what this class has to do with his immortality, leaving those around him surprised. Students walk down the academy steps as Alex decides to go home after the day. However, he is stopped when a classmate calls out to him by name. Nini steps forward and suggests that they team up, explaining that the more curse masters fight, the faster they die. Alex listens calmly but raises his hand and politely declines, thanking her for the concern. As she walks away, she remarks that he is stubborn and heading toward death, while Alex remains silent. Alex walks away and mutters that the encounter felt strange. A group of classmates suddenly blocks his way with Luke, who is a rich classmate known for bullying others. Alex stays calm and asks them to move aside. Luke laughs and keeps taunting him, claiming Alex will end up working security and using the money to support his orphanage family. Luke mocks Alex further, saying an orphan like him does not deserve a family, and orders him to kneel. The pressure suddenly shifts as an unseen force surges forward, causing the surrounding classmates to tense up. Alex's eye sharpens as something awakens within him. He raises his hand, and crackling curse energy gathers above him as the others stare in shock. When Luke questions why he would do this, Alex snaps back, warning them not to speak about his dead family. A burst of curse energy slams down, sending Luke and the others crashing into the ground. They lie injured and shaken as they realize what Alex just did. Alex calmly extends his hand and tells them to come at him if they want. Panic spreads as the group scrambles to their feet and runs away, shouting for help. Alex adjusts his bag and dismisses them as trash, noting that it only took one move. Alex groans in pain as the backlash from using his curse magic hits his body. From a distance, Nini watches and thinks that even a curse master like Alex went too far this time. The scene shifts to the building where Alex lives as night settles in. Alex arrives home and drops his bag, relieved to finally be back. Sitting alone, he reflects on his curse abilities and realizes that sacrificing parts of his body only produces ordinary lightning, making him wonder what would happen if he sacrificed something more important. Alex lies on his bed, groaning as the side effects of body recovery kick in, and his head starts spinning. He stares up at the ceiling and mutters that he is completely worn out. Elsewhere, Luke angrily confronts his dad, Mr. Jin, demanding revenge for what happened to him. Jin listens calmly and dismisses the situation, warning that killing a triple S rank curse user is risky and brings no benefit. He reminds Luke that Alex comes from a poor background and advises him to use his greatest advantage, money, to strike at the weakest point instead, yawning, admitting that he is still feeling a bit sleepy. Someone suddenly calls out his name, and it turns out to be Luke approaching him. Luke asks if Alex has eaten yet and hands him a bag of breakfast, trying to act friendly. Alex looks at the food with suspicion and asks if he is trying to poison him, while Luke laughs and insists it was specially prepared for him. Luke awkwardly thanks Alex and says the beating made him reflect. He tries to act closer and asks Alex to call him Big Brother. Alex looks confused and clearly does not buy the act. Luke keeps talking about changing and becoming better. He then brings up money and offers help since Alex is short on cash. Luke talks about transferring Alex's tuition money and treats it like a small expense. A large testing venue comes into view as an announcement says the notice board is open and the test will begin soon. A glowing vortex forms to mark where candidates from each academy will enter. Cheers break out as a group celebrates and shouts victory. Nearby, principals from different schools watch and comment that the students chosen for the top professions this year look impressive. Principal Gosh reacts with surprise as others question Alex's attitude. Another principal cuts the discussion short and says he prefers action over talk. An announcement calls all examinees to enter the field. As Alex prepares to move, Nini approaches and offers to team up with him. Alex refuses without hesitation, and Nini walks away, calling him arrogant. Alex is pulled into the test area as golden light wraps around him and drops him into a forest. He looks around and realizes he has been sent alone, questioning whether this was a random teleport. A beast appears nearby and lets out a roar as it spots him. Alex remains calm and casually remarks that it is only a small creature. Curse energy gathers around his arm as he prepares to test a forbidden spell. Alex wipes out the creature with a single curse attack. Walking away, he realizes the reward is tiny, and the backlash makes this method too slow. A beast roars as it charges at Alex, and he realizes this monster should give him decent experience. Alex crashes into the ground as dark curse energy surges, and he steadies himself. He then prepares to test his newly learned forbidden curse on the monster. A massive energy activates as power surges violently around Alex. The spell detonates and tears through the ground with overwhelming force. Waves of curse energy slice forward and rip the monster apart. Alex dashes through the chaos and delivers the final blow. The battlefield collapses inward as the attack ends in a single sweep. The backlash hits Alex as his arm rapidly ages from the strain of using the curse. He realizes he cannot reveal his undying body and decides to stop using the burning reincarnation curse. He activates vitality preservation to stabilize himself. Alex sacrifices again as power gathers around him. Glowing symbols spread beneath him as another surge of energy erupts. A massive energy descends from the sky as the curse continues to activate. System notifications show multiple monsters being wiped out and rewards stacking rapidly. Alex stands still as he levels up and realizes the effect is far stronger than expected. The forest falls silent under the night sky as the destruction finally settles. Standing from afar, Nini is shocked as she realizes how many monsters were turned to ash. Nini senses the strange glow ahead and wonders if it is hellfire. She studies the fluctuation and realizes there should not be another fire element user like her nearby. Her gaze sharpens as she senses something unusual. Seeing the destruction, she concludes it was caused by a human and notes that the firepower rivals her own. Burnt remains litter the area, confirming that countless monsters were reduced to ash. Alex sits on the ground eating monster meat and remarks that it tastes surprisingly good. Feeling full, he decides to move to another area to continue hunting monsters. He suddenly senses someone nearby and turns as a voice calls out his name. Nini steps out and asks Alex what he is doing there. Alex reacts inwardly with annoyance as he realizes he has run into her again. Alex explains that he is just casually roasting something to eat while reminding her that his class is not suited for solo grinding. Nini tells him it is too late to back out now and insists on following him despite his refusal. Alex looks at her in disbelief and questions her logic. She changes the topic and asks if he has seen anyone else pass through the area. Alex points out the direction someone went and reacts when she mentions hellfire again. Nini blames Alex for the situation and thinks she would have caught the Hellfire user if not for him. She suddenly senses something wrong and looks up in confusion. A powerful beast leaps out from above, revealing itself as a level 8 dragonblood behemoth. Nini is sent flying as the monster crashes down with overwhelming force. She struggles to stand and realizes there is no way she can win against it. Nini looks around and wonders where Alex went, assuming he has already moved far away. She launches a fireball storm toward the beast in an attempt to stop it. The monster is struck repeatedly as explosions burst across its body. Even after the hits, the beast remains active and locks its glowing eyes onto her. It drops from above and slams toward Nini with overwhelming force. Nini gathers her remaining strength and declares that she will fight the beast to the end. She unleashes a barrage of fire attacks that streak forward in rapid succession. The fire slams into the monster head-on as explosions erupt across its body. Her eyes widen in shock when she realizes the attack did not work as expected. The backlash hits her hard as flames explode around her, and she cries out in pain. The dragonblood behemoth stands unfazed as flames still burn beneath its body. Nini kneels in pain and admits she was too arrogant, realizing a level 8 monster is impossible to defeat alone. A forbidden curse called Hellfire begins to rise, forming a dark red flame. The Hellfire surges forward and crashes violently across the ground. The blazing curse spreads outward as the attack fully detonates. Nini stares in shock as she realizes the level 8 dragonblood behemoth was instantly killed by Hellfire. She looks up and recognizes that Alex was the one who saved her. Catching her breath, she thanks him and asks for his name. Alex steps out calmly and introduces himself by reversing his name to hide his identity. Nini exhales in pain as she struggles to recover from her injuries. She asks Alex which school he is from and says she needs to properly thank him for saving her. Alex dismisses her gratitude bluntly and says it was only a small effort. As she tries to stop him, he tells her not to follow because stronger monsters lie ahead. He warns that the area is dangerous for her and casually tells her to put her clothes back on properly. Nini loses her balance and drops to the ground after calling out in surprise. She quickly pushes herself up, startled by someone suddenly appearing behind her. Regaining her composure, she declares that one day she will stand proudly by Alex's side. Alex moves ahead through the forest with curse energy still lingering around his body. Walking away, he exhales and thinks to himself that she was clinging to him again. Alex notes that he wasted time earlier and needs to hurry up and keep leveling. He reviews the forbidden curse effect and realizes it can negate fatal damage, but normally comes with heavy limits. He concludes that because of his condition, even forbidden curses that require sacrifice are usable for him. A close-up of his eye shows his excitement as he realizes how broken this ability is. Holding the glowing curse in his hand, Alex declares that he can now grind levels without restraint. Day 3 begins as the arena fills with people and the test enters its final stage. An examiner greets everyone and announces that this is the last day of the test. Nearby, several principals discuss the current records and question whether any student will break them this year. Someone arrives and remarks that the principals certainly have refined taste. Zora, Nini's top astrologer dad, asks to join the conversation. He exchanges a few words with the principals and mentions his concern about recent trouble involving his daughter. Nearby, a surge of blue energy appears as activity is detected from the test field. The principals turn their attention to the disturbance and wonder if someone is coming out injured. Moments later, Nini emerges from the portal and draws everyone's attention. Nini runs over and greets the principals, questioning why her father is here as Zora responds casually. A glowing display reveals that she has already reached level 12. The surrounding principals react in shock, realizing the record was broken far sooner than expected. Zora praises her progress, while others remark on how frightening her growth speed is. As she listens, Nini quietly thinks that she came out early because she wanted to find Alex. Alex suddenly sneezes and reacts with mild confusion. Walking through the ravaged area, he finds it strange that it is not cold and wonders if someone is cursing him. He notices that even the level 10 area monsters are already gone and questions if he cleared the area too quickly. Deciding to speed things up, he prepares a newly learned forbidden curse. Alex activates instantaneous dance and sacrifices a kidney to trigger it. Alex feels exhilarated as the speed of his movement pushes far beyond what even high-level assassins can reach. Laughing to himself, he spins through the forest and urges himself to keep going. He shoots forward like a streak of lightning, tearing through the terrain at extreme speed. The forest blurs into lines as his movement carves a path straight through the trees. Several monsters notice the disturbance and turn just as Alex closes in on them. Alex locks onto a three-headed storm mantis and claims it as his target. He dashes forward at extreme speed and initiates another sacrifice to attack. A forbidden lightning spell crashes down and obliterates the monster in an instant. Back at the exit, onlookers stare in shock at the massive destruction left behind. Watching from a distance, Nini grows confused and wonders why Alex has still not appeared yet. An announcement echoes through the arena, stating that only 5 minutes remain in the test. Nini looks around in confusion and wonders if she somehow missed Alex at the exit. Sensing movement, she turns toward the field and realizes that someone is approaching. Alex suddenly appears in front of her, prompting her to question why he came out so late. She angrily calls him a coward and tells him to stay away. Alex looks irritated and wonders why Nini is suddenly acting strange toward him. Principal Gosh steps in and asks Alex what level he ended the test at. A glowing display reveals that Alex reached level 16. The crowd reacts in disbelief as everyone realizes he has completely broken the previous record. The principals explain that Alex reaching level 16 requires an enormous amount of experience, leaving everyone stunned. Gosh laughs proudly and congratulates Alex, calling him the pride of Korra Academy. However, Nini points out that forbidden curse masters are known to level up unusually fast. Others counter that abusing forbidden curses will cost Alex his life long before he can go any further. Principal Sue questions Alex seriously and asks if he deliberately risked his life for the Academy's honor. Alex firmly replies that no one forced him and explains that he chose this path himself. Praising his ambition, a principal announces that Alex is now the highest level student in the beginner's secret realm test. Zora then steps forward and introduces himself. Nini disagrees and comments that the masked man will outrank Alex once he comes out. Principal Sue admits he has never heard of the masked man before and questions which academy he comes from. Alex politely says goodbye to Gosh and Zora, then agrees to go home and rest for the upcoming exam. An announcement declares that the test is officially over as the portal remains open. Nini looks toward the portal and wonders where the masked man went, blaming him for slipping away quietly. Zora finds it strange and asks if Alex might be the one she has been searching for. Nini argues with Zora and insists that Alex should not be compared to her. Zora reflects on her words and decides to accept her reasoning for now. Back at home, Alex lies on the couch when he suddenly senses someone behind him. He turns toward the sound, surprised that someone followed him all the way here. A well-dressed man knocks and introduces himself as Wang, saying he is looking for Alex. Wang asks Alex what he can do for him and explains that the matter involves a substantial fee. Alex asks how much substantial means as the man hints that the cost is extremely high. The price is then revealed to be 3 million, leaving Alex visibly shocked. As Alex repeats the number in disbelief, Wang presents a vial and explains that it is a brain-boosting liquid worth several of Alex's kidneys, claiming it can even restore youth. Alex opens the vial and drinks the liquid without hesitation. He comments that it tastes sweet and seems fine at first. Moments later, dizziness sets in as the effect begins to work. Elsewhere, Wang reports that the trick succeeded and waits for instructions. That night, his boss questions why so much effort was spent tracking down Alex. Jin notes that the task is complete and warns him not to ask questions, then orders him to leave. Examining Alex's body, Jin confirms that every organ Alex sold earlier has fully regenerated. Covering his face in shock, Jin realizes this ability could reveal the secret of organ rebirth. He imagines the power and influence they could gain once that secret is mastered. Jin then reacts to a sudden disturbance. Jin panics and questions how Alex woke up so quickly despite the drug. Alex calmly responds that he is more interested in how Jin tracked him down. Dropping the polite act, Jin threatens him and reveals that he is a level 20 job changer. Seeing no other option, Alex prepares to act and notes that fire magic would draw too much attention. He then activates Eternal Freezing Gaze, sacrificing his eyesight to unleash the forbidden curse. Jin stares in disbelief as the freezing curse spreads and traps him completely. He struggles to break free, convinced there is no way Alex's spell should overpower him. The moment shatters his confidence when he realizes Alex is only level 16 while he himself is level 20. Alex then calmly questions him, asking who else knows about his organ regeneration ability. Deciding the answer is enough, Alex says he will believe him for now and handle things quickly. Jin screams in terror as the freezing curse tightens around him. Alex slams him down through the ice with a brutal strike. Walking away, Alex mutters that the drug made him feel sick and that he should sacrifice his stomach next. The frozen prison collapses as the curse fully settles. Jin begs for his life while Alex calmly demands to know who is truly behind this. Alex threatens Jin and demands the truth as the curse tightens around him. Terrified, Jin reveals that their boss is Kenta, the underground king of Korra. Hearing the name, Alex recognizes it and realizes the situation has become far more complicated. Meanwhile, Kenta, the king of the underground market, questions his men. After hearing troubling news, he learns that Alex has gone missing and that contact has been lost. A report comes in that the farmhouse was destroyed, likely by a job changer. Furious, Kenta orders his people to find the person responsible at once. Elsewhere, Luke welcomes Alex at their mansion. Luke brings up the 2 million, but Alex stops him from talking about it. Luke obeys him and leads Alex inside the mansion instead. As they walk, Luke thinks about Alex and assumes his father will deal with someone like him easily. Meanwhile, Alex believes Kenta's people would have no trouble catching him. They arrive at a grand residence, leaving Alex stunned by how extravagant it is. Alex notices the lavish outfit prepared for him and remarks that life here feels very different. Luke asks which outfit he prefers and offers to have it delivered to his room right away. Several attendants step in to help Alex change as Luke jokes and tells him not to be shy. Luke then hints that something big is coming and says he will explain once they arrive. They enter a massive hall where Luke reveals it is Korra's annual auction, leaving Alex impressed by the scale. Luke tells Alex that everyone important in Korra is present and says he will introduce him to people later. Walking through the venue, Luke looks down on others and remarks that poor people will always lack experience. Alex ignores it and focuses on eating, saying he is starving after being busy all night. He suddenly pauses when someone calls his name. Nini then appears beside her friend, Yanni, and asks who he is. Alex feels irritated and wonders why he keeps running into Nini again. Nini recognizes him as someone who controls fire and questions if he is really the same person. Alex watches her quietly and wonders how she would react if she knew the truth about him. Footsteps echo as a group approaches from behind. Luke then steps in and introduces Alex to everyone, openly calling him his boss. The group reacts in disbelief when Luke calls Alex his boss. Their shock deepens after learning that Alex is already level 16 and ranked first in the novice secret realm. Alex calms them down and hints that he has insights about leveling up. They discuss the possibility of leveling outside the city but worry about restrictions before the big exam. Alex then agrees to help them level outside the city despite the risks. Alex asks about equipment, and Luke confidently says that part is easy. Luke reassures him and promises that as long as Alex helps him level up, he will take care of everything else. Alex reacts in surprise when Luke suggests buying whatever equipment he wants at the auction. Luke insists that improving his performance in the big exam matters more than money, adding that his father will support the cost. The scene shifts as an auction host steps onto the stage and welcomes all the guests. Queen steps onto the stage and welcomes everyone to the auction on behalf of the Treasure Pavilion. The crowd responds with applause as she wishes everyone luck in securing their desired items. She then introduces the first item, an epic fire-type skill scroll suitable for mage-type jobs. The bidding immediately heats up as prices climb rapidly. The room falls silent when Zora suddenly jumps the bid to 3 million. Alex notes that Nini relies on expensive skill books, while he does not need any at all. Alex reminds Luke to focus on equipment that can keep him alive rather than flashy abilities. The auctioneer then unveils an exceptionally rare ring that increases spiritual attributes by 30 and includes a passive skill. Bidding starts at once as prices rise rapidly. Seeing its value, Luke insists the ring would be extremely useful for them. He then asks Mr. Jin to place a bid on the item. The price suddenly jumps to 8 million, shocking the auction hall. The bid is repeated as the crowd reacts. Kenta then steps forward and raises the price to 10 million. Tension spreads as people recognize him as the underground king of Korra. Alex looks over and finally sees Kenta's face. Alex clicks his tongue and chooses not to step in. Kenta directly confronts Jin and demands an explanation for the offense. Jin answers carefully while pushing the bid higher instead of retreating. He then agrees to settle things properly and says the result will be decided at the end. Moments later, Kenta's men confirm that the warehouse incident is linked to the Jin group. Kenta accepts the result and warns the Jin group not to touch Alex's family. The auctioneer then declares the ring sold at 12 million and passes it over. Luke thanks Jin and turns to ask Alex what he thinks of the ring. Alex responds by warning him to be careful, pointing out that the auction attracted too much attention. The ring is shown up close, revealing its refined effect and enhanced spiritual attributes. Alex explains that the ring boosts spiritual attributes and even increases luck. Feeling drained, he tells Luke to choose the equipment instead. Several powerful accessories are displayed, each offering different attribute bonuses. Alex notes that these are not ordinary items but sets that greatly enhance survival and recovery. He then lifts a sword and remarks that its effect is strong enough to counter spells. Alex tests the sword and comments that it is a solid weapon. Elsewhere, Nini wonders why the Jin family continues to support someone like Alex as she relaxes in a bath. She reflects on how much the Jin group spent on Alex. An attendant then informs her that Yanni has arrived with the information she requested. Nini responds by telling the attendant to have her wait while she finishes. Nini meets with an investigator named Jun and asks if there is any information about Alex. Jun explains that he does have information but warns her that it is not good news. Confused, Nini asks what he means. Jun reveals that a farm in Korra was burned down and that residual fire traces point to Alex, requesting her cooperation in the investigation. Stunned, Nini questions whether Alex could truly be a killer and instinctively doubts it. Jun asks Nini to calm down and explains that Alex defeated several enemies with a single strike. He then states that the investigation suggests Alex is the prime suspect. Nini reacts in disbelief and insists that Alex is too cowardly to commit such an act. Jun presses her further and asks if she is absolutely certain. As Jun activates lie detection, Nini firmly denies the accusation, insisting she has met Alex and knows he is not responsible. Jun determines that no one is lying and temporarily rules Alex out as the suspect. Later that night, Luke brings Alex to a place where he can test his new equipment. They arrive at a training venue as staff get everything ready. When asked about his level, Alex states that he is level 16. He then steps into a huge training room marked 40 and gets ready to start. Alex checks that there are no cameras and decides he can act freely. He activates a curse spell and announces that he will first test the power of the life sword. A massive surge of energy sweeps forward as he swings. The attack slams down and tears through the training room. Seeing the result, Alex decides to test other curse spells next. Outside, Luke remarks that the exam is coming up and notes how hard Alex has been training. Finally, Alex comes out, clarifying that he doesn't need to pay for the damages, and the staff confirms. Alex tells Luke to leave the place at once, while the staff freezes in shock after entering the training room and seeing the damage that Alex has done. Outside the Jin family residence, guards stand watch when chaos suddenly erupts inside. A man stumbles forward, clutching his head, as others demand to know what is happening. Panic spreads as another man recoils in fear. Inside, Jin reacts in confusion after hearing the screams. Moments later, a servant rushes in and urgently tells him to flee. He screams as an unseen force rips through him. Kenta then steps forward and calmly greets Mr. Jin. Panicking, Jin pulls a gun and calls out to Kenta. In an instant, Kenta knocks the weapon away and smashes him to the floor. Looking down on him, Kenta coldly mocks him and says weapons mean nothing against an awakened. A subordinate informs Kenta that they failed to find the target. Kenta reacts impatiently and orders them to continue the search. Outside the Jin residence, figures linger under the night sky. Nearby, Alex arrives and immediately senses that something is wrong when he notices the lights are out. Smelling blood, he sprints toward the building. Alex pushes the door open and enters, immediately sensing that something is wrong. Luke cautions him, reminding him that this is not their home. Luke scans the hall and calls out for his father and Uncle Fu. Spotting a paper on the floor, Alex picks it up and asks Luke to take a look. They read the note, prompting Luke to erupt in anger and declare that Kenta is behind it. Alex cuts him off and takes responsibility, saying he will hide and rescue Mr. Jin himself. When Luke tries to argue, Alex knocks him out with a swift strike. Supporting him, Alex promises that he will bring Jin back safely. Alex carefully lays Luke down, blood marking his hand as he steadies him. Rising to his feet, Alex clenches his fist and declares that he will face Kenta himself. Elsewhere, his shadowy figure moves through a narrow alley. The entrance to the Quora underground black market appears, guarded and silent. Alex lands nearby and advances toward it without hesitation. Alex slips inside and notes that he moved fast enough to avoid immediate detection. Moments later, he realizes something is wrong because he was found too quickly. Two men step out and question why he is lurking in the shadows. They explain that the black market uses advanced infrared vision and say the boss has been waiting for him. Alex decides it is simpler to rush in directly as enemies block the way. He activates burning reincarnation and violent energy erupts around him. Someone watching realizes he plans to sacrifice again to fight. The backlash hits, and Alex visibly grows older from the curse. Gunfire rains down from above as Alex twists through the air to dodge the shots. A massive surge of curse energy spreads, while the power twists into a violent vortex as gunfire continues below. Alex activates Fleeting Dance and forces his speed even higher. He charges forward and announces his arrival. The enemies immediately counter by launching wind blades at him. Alex slips past the enemies as a violent explosion detonates behind him from his own attack. Wind-type power surges as Alex reveals that he has awakened a wind attribute above level 30. Two figures step out and mock him, claiming the boss wants him alive. Alex tightens his grip and says they are unlucky since he has his sword. Activating Life Sword and Starfall Trace, he charges forward to attack. An enemy yells and attacks Alex with wind magic at close range. Alex swings his blade and declares his first sword as the clash erupts. Another opponent steps in and fires a wind blade which Alex blocks. Without stopping, Alex counters and releases his second sword. They laugh and taunt Alex while doubting his strength. Alex charges forward and says they still do not understand his sword skills. He swings and releases his third sword, then follows immediately with his fourth from another angle. The pressure keeps rising as he unleashes the fifth, sixth, and seventh swords in rapid succession. Jumping higher into the air, Alex finishes the sequence by bringing down his eighth sword in a powerful sweep. An enemy shouts for the seventh brother as Alex lands nearby. Alex presses a hand to his chest and notes that the eighth sword was intense. He stands over a fallen opponent with his blade as the enemy questions what sword technique he used. Alex dismisses him and says he does not need to know. Nearby, another enemy slumps against the wall and calls out to the fifth brother while Alex remains standing. The enemy screams that Alex is not human and calls him a devil. Alex's silhouette stands surrounded by violent energy as the accusation echoes. He slowly raises his hand without hesitation. Alex declares that no one here will leave alive tonight. A devastating blast erupts and rips through the corridor. The remaining enemies run in terror and cry for help as curse energy spreads behind them. Alex walks forward without haste while sword shadows trail along the walls. One survivor bolts down the stairs with Alex following close behind. Alex warns him not to run and mutters that he needs to count again. His red eye sharpens as he senses something waiting ahead. Zugo, Black Market's #1 fighter, steps out and comments that it has been a long time since anyone dared cause trouble here. He looks at Alex and questions what secret he is hiding. Watching closely, he notes that Alex is still standing despite his injuries. Alex suddenly rushes in as Zugo warns that he will die slowly. His attack causes a violent impact and tears through the corridor. Alex activates Burning Reincarnation and Fleeting Dance as violent energy erupts around his body. Zugo laughs and recognizes him as a curse master who sacrifices his own life for strength. Their weapons collide at close range and shockwaves explode between them. Alex is sent flying and slams into the corridor wall. Alex braces himself as he realizes he is facing Zugo, a level 42 awakened. Zugo mocks him and questions why a curse master would rely on a sword. A red slash suddenly tears through the air between them. The blade cuts into Alex's chest, and blood spills as the hit connects. Alex is sent flying and slams violently across the ground. Zugo steps forward barefoot and presses the attack without hesitation. He tells Alex that he was only giving a warning and that Alex is already down. Studying the fight, Zugo calmly points out that Alex's sword skills fall short in close combat. Alex regains his footing and admits he was forced into this as his injuries recover. Preparing to escalate, Alex begins choosing another sacrifice. Alex steadies himself as crackling lightning gathers around his blade. A colossal bolt of blue thunder crashes down and engulfs the area. Zugo looks on in shock as the attack hits him head-on. The lightning explodes and hurls him backward. The corridor is left scarred as the remaining force dissipates. Alex stands in the ruined corridor and admits that his sword skills are still lacking. He moves down the stairs and notes that sacrificing too many organs at once left him dizzy. Elsewhere, Kenta relaxes on a bed with his girlfriend as she asks if there was trouble below. He casually offers food as if nothing serious is happening. In the next instant, Alex bursts through the wall in a flash of lightning and calls out Kenta. Kenta mocks Alex and asks where Zugo is after seeing him arrive. Alex immediately lunges forward and declares that Kenta will be next. Without concern, Kenta lifts an arm and blocks the attack. The force snaps his head to the side, but he remains unmoved. In the next instant, Kenta seizes Alex by the throat and halts him with overwhelming strength. Kenta tosses Alex aside and declares that he has wasted enough time. As he turns away, he suddenly freezes and looks back in surprise. Alex stands up as his injuries rapidly recover before his eyes. Shock spreads across Kenta's face as he realizes Alex is still alive. Without hesitation, Alex sacrifices his left eye and coldly asks if Kenta is finished having fun. Alex activates Eyes of Eternal Freeze, and a dark circular field spreads out. Blue freezing energy surges and locks onto Kenta's body. Alex moves closer and demands to know where Uncle Jin is. Kenta refuses and insists he will not say anything. The freezing curse intensifies as Kenta's arms are sealed and he cries out in agony. A body suddenly drops out of the closet and crashes onto the floor. Kenta's girlfriend storms in, seizes Jin, and threatens to shoot if he is not released. Kenta scoffs and mocks her attempt to act righteous. From above, Alex tells her to stay back and proposes exchanging hostages. She ignores him and opens fire while screaming for Alex to die. Alex grimaces as blood trails down and he forces himself upright. Nearby, Kenta's girlfriend calls out his name while keeping Jin hostage. Her expression stiffens when Alex suddenly appears behind her. With a casual motion, Alex disarms her and sends the gun flying. Blue curse energy wraps around her hand as she cries out in fear. Kenta shouts at Alex to kill him and claims his girlfriend knows nothing. In the next instant, Alex flashes past and cleanly severs Kenta's head. Without slowing down, Alex moves on and remarks that the noise is annoying. Alex stands on Kenta's body and cuts her off, telling her to stop shouting. Kenta's girlfriend looks on in shock after seeing him killed and asks if she is next. Alex calmly replies that he does not kill women and frees her, telling her to leave. She is left speechless and unable to react. Above the city, curse energy surges into the night sky as Alex burns the place. At the Jin family mansion, Jin is finally shown safe as relief spreads through the room. Lying on the bed, he is stunned to still be alive while Alex stands nearby to reassure him. Weakly, Jin asks how Alex managed to save him after losing consciousness. Alex admits he does not know all the details and explains that a friend rescued Jin from Kenta and destroyed the black market. When asked about Lingye, Alex says he does not know much and encourages Jin to rest and prepare for the upcoming final exam. Jun arrives with investigators and blocks Alex's path, saying he is not going anywhere. He identifies himself and explains that Alex is suspected of being connected to a murder case in the city. Alex is caught off guard, realizing Jun acted faster than expected. As the arrest happens, Jin calls out and tells Alex to remember to bail him out. The moment ends with the sound of handcuffs clicking shut. Zora tells Nini that there is news about Alex. She immediately asks if he has been found. Downstairs, Zora waits quietly and coughs to himself. He then reveals that Alex killed Kenta on his own and admits this was unexpected. The Quora Investigation Bureau building appears as the investigation moves forward. Alex sits quietly as Leon, a gang member, enters the room and walks toward him. Leon warns Alex to speak before his lawyer arrives, but Alex refuses to answer. Losing patience, Leon grabs him and mocks his attitude. He demands to know where the item is, yet Alex remains unfazed. In an instant, Alex strikes back and slams Leon to the floor, demanding the item Kenta took. Alex looks up in irritation, confused by the talk about a key. Alex admits that he has the key, but says it is not on him. He explains that the key is with the Investigation Bureau and claims he can hand it over after leaving. Without warning, Alex strikes Leon down, leaving him bleeding as others shout in shock. Standing over him, Alex asks to make a phone call while Leon says all of this pain could have been avoided. Alex lowers his head and says he will repay today's favor many times over. 10 minutes later, footsteps approach as someone arrives. Leon looks up and recognizes Zora with surprise. Zora calmly tells Leon to leave since the key is already in his hands. As Alex watches, he feels confused and thinks to himself that he might be caught in some kind of conspiracy. Zora explains that he had his own reasons and warns that revealing Alex's undying body would make him a target. Alex remains silent as his thoughts race, briefly considering whether Zora should be killed to protect the secret. He then scratches his head and asks what Zora means by an undying body. Zora calmly explains that Alex's killing intent was never directed at him and concludes that Alex possesses an undying body. Alex looks at him and asks what he wants as Zora offers to make him his disciple. Alex is stunned by the suggestion of becoming a disciple. Zora coughs and explains that he does not have much time left, so he needs Alex to carry the responsibility. Alex then questions why the key is here and asks why it was not given to Leon. Zora hands him another key and explains that the earlier one was fake, while this is the real ancient apocalypse key. He goes on to explain that according to legend, the key once unleashed demonic beings and 7 ancient artifacts. Zora explains that the ancient artifacts are spread across the world and each possesses unimaginable power. He then reveals that the ancient apocalypse key is what unlocks those sealed gates. Zora asks if Alex is willing to become his disciple and see this task through. Praising his potential and future, Zora adds that there is one more thing he needs to entrust to him. Zora asks Alex to take care of Nini after he is gone. Alex hesitates and struggles to respond at first. He then assures Zora that he will definitely live a long life. Zora laughs and says Nini still has much to improve, so there is no need to rush. The moment closes with a view of the house as they get ready to leave. Nini reacts in disbelief and questions how her father could accept Alex as a disciple. Alex calmly tells her to ask her father directly. She storms toward Zora and angrily asks why there is a stranger in their house. Zora explains that Alex is his disciple and defends him, saying he is far stronger than he appears. Nini laughs it off and mocks Alex, calling him a coward and a fraud. Nini states that Alex has no place in the house and tells him to leave. Alex calmly asks his master if he wants him to protect her. Zora interrupts and says it is almost time for the final test, before handing Alex a small box, explaining that it may be useful. Alex opens the box and looks inside, unsure of what it is. Zora then explains that Alex's current appearance is only a disguise, and that his true presence will be revealed once it is removed. Alex walks forward and Luke calls out his arrival. He stops Alex and says he heard Alex accepted a master, and that the matter has already been resolved. Nini angrily points at Alex and accuses him of tricking her father. The situation abruptly turns violent as blood splatters against the side of a nearby bus. Shortly after, Principal Gosh stands before the students and encourages everyone to work hard for the upcoming final test. The students clench their fist as cheers erupt. 30 minutes later, the Quora City gate appears as buses arrive below. Alex stares up at the massive structure and remarks that it is his first time seeing it. He reminds Luke to stay close and follow the plan. The facilitator then steps forward and announces that the gate is opening, telling everyone to prepare for the trial. The ground cracks as dust rises around the gate when it fully opens. The group moves forward as the final test officially begins. Luke rushes ahead and declares that he will not lose to Alex. From above, onlookers discuss how many candidates may enter Daxia Academy this year. Principal Gosh observes quietly and reminds them not to get too confident. A foul stench fills the air, and the group realizes it comes from demon beast corpses. A bloodthirsty demon lizard suddenly appears and roars, sending people into panic. The creature charges ahead as students scream and flee in all directions. From a distance, some remark that the demon lizard is only level 5 and not dangerous enough to scare them. Ignoring the talk, Alex dashes forward and tells everyone to get out of the way. Alex cuts the demon lizard in half with a single sword strike. The principals nearby stare in disbelief and remark on how terrifying his weapon is. Alex then turns and calls Luke over to finish the job. Luke steps forward and delivers the final blow, confirming the kill. As the experience is split among the team, Nini looks on with focused interest and declares that this time she will definitely surpass Alex. Alex finishes off the remaining demon beasts as experience notifications appear. Luke reaches level 8 and struggles to believe how quickly he leveled up. Alex cuts in and tells him not to get excited yet, noting that the area has been cleared. Luke then asks if they should go deeper, confident that level 20 demon beasts will flee from him. In the towering academy structure, the principals observe that Alex has already secured entry into Daxia Academy and question why he is still pushing deeper. Alex and Luke sprint through the forest without slowing down. Their path is suddenly blocked when demon beasts burst out and roar at them. Alex warns Luke that the level 20 beasts are dangerous and tells him to be careful. He then clutches his chest as blood spreads and admits that the lifespan sword cannot last much longer. In the next moment, forbidden power erupts and lightning slams down. Luke watches in shock as level 20 demon beasts are wiped out instantly. Examiner Kyle appears and orders them to stop, warning that interfering with the test is not allowed. Alex agrees that they cannot go any deeper and notes that they are likely leaving the test zone. His gaze sharpens as he senses danger. Alex warns Luke to watch his back as something closes in. Luke dismisses the warning and says he will not fall for a cheap trick. In the next instant, a level 33 goblin hero bursts out and roars as it attacks. Kyle identifies the monster and tells them to run. The goblin hero slams into the ground, sending debris flying everywhere. Alex steps in front of Luke to block the attack and tells him to escape while he holds it off. He backs away reluctantly as Alex orders him to stop talking and leave. As he faces the monster alone, Alex realizes that killing it would mean exposing his true power. Alex activates a forbidden spell and starts the sacrifice as power surges around him. Luke steps forward to cover him and holds the front line. Kyle is suddenly knocked off balance by the goblin hero's attack. Alex reacts instantly and grabs Kyle, pulling him away just in time. Blue lightning then crashes down as Alex completes the spell and brings it down on the goblin hero. The light from Alex's lightning attack slowly fades as the goblin hero remains standing. In his thoughts, Alex wishes Kyle had fallen asleep so he could fight without holding back. Moments later, 2 examiners arrive. Scarlet asks the situation, while Anton tells the examinees to leave the place at once. Alex agrees and says he will carry the injured examiner away. Alex suddenly wants to try something. He decides to try the illusion skin on him. He holds the mask, then wears it. He mimics Kyle's face to hide his identity. Scarlet suggests that they kill the goblin fast, until something catches Anton's attention. Alex arrives to provide support while still pretending to be Kyle. Lighting crackles as Alex tells the examiners to watch him kill the goblin. Without hesitation, he uses the forbidden skill called Eternal Arrow, wiping out the goblin. System notifications then appear, confirming the kill of a level 33 goblin. As the dust settles, Alex notices the dropped item in surprise. Anton angrily questions Alex and accuses him of interfering. Alex says they should not make a fuss, even joking that they can call him kind. Scarlet mocks the remark and tells Anton to forget it. Alex removes the mask and says they will not find him after this. The scene then shows a map of the outskirts forest, highlighting the final test teleportation gate. Kyle lies unconscious on the ground while Alex sits beside him and comments that the illusion skin works perfectly. Taking out the talisman, he realizes it allows experience to be shared. Suddenly, a cry for help echoes nearby. Moments later, Luke runs through the forest in panic as a monster chases after him, and Anubis charges forward and slams down with crushing force. Luke panics and screams as the attack reaches him. In the next instant, Alex appears and pulls Luke to safety. Alex calmly reassures him and explains that the goblin was already dealt with by other examiners. He then tells Luke not to move as he checks his injured hand. Anubis brings its weapon crashing down as Luke yells in alarm. In response, Alex activates a forbidden sword skill and dark energy explodes from his blade. Moments later, system notifications confirm that the level 13 Anubis soldier has been killed and experience has been gained. Luke looks on in shock as he realizes the symbiotic talisman has triggered. Alex then tells him to kill the boss himself, leaving Luke confused. Alex tells Luke to stop following him and explains that they need to level up separately to maximize the shared experience effect. Luke hesitates but agrees, admitting there are not many monsters he can handle on his own. A werewolf roars and charges toward the group, drawing everyone's attention. In the next instant, Alex disappears and reappears at an unbelievable speed. Blue lightning slams down as he instantly kills 3 werewolves at once, leaving everyone staring in shock. Onlookers realize Alex is the forbidden spellcaster and question how he kills monsters so fast. They notice him recovering and point out that the equipment on his wrist seems to be restoring him. Alex keeps quiet and thinks that he must hide the secret of his immortal body. Suddenly, a level 20 Minotaur appears and charges forward as people cry out in fear. The group scatters in panic, shouting that the monster can kill in an instant. Alex laughs as he stands before the level 20 Minotaur. In the next instant, he shoots upward with blue energy streaking behind him. While airborne, Alex draws his blade and prepares a decisive strike. Below, Luke looks on in shock as his level surges from the experience gained through Alex. Elsewhere, Principal Gosh observes everything through a monitoring screen. Gosh lets out a sigh and comments that if Alex were not a forbidden spellcaster, he could have defeated another powerful monster. A fan opens, while examinee Ben speaks up and says that leaving late is actually a good thing. With most of the danger gone, the group rushes through the forest toward the teleportation gate. As they move, Alex checks his status and realizes he has reached level 18. Alex stands before the enormous gate and says it is time to enter the final examination zone. He steps forward and places his foot onto the stone path. As he walks ahead, dark energy pulses behind him. Looking up at the structure in front of him, Alex quietly wonders if this truly is the final examination zone. Alex enters the final examination zone and realizes how many people have gathered. Luke excitedly praises him and brags that he has already reached level 15. Nearby, Nini complains that she only gained 2 levels despite all the fighting but quickly dismisses it. An examiner then appears and commands all test takers to be silent. Chief Examiner Yuan welcomes all test takers and formally begins the final test. He explains that the forest outside the city is the entrance and that only those who survive the journey are allowed to proceed. The massive gate opens as he announces that the test is divided into 2 parts. He then introduces the comprehensive assessment and the ring battle as the final stages. A victory in the ring can grant them up to 150 marks, which decides the top scorer. Yuan declares that special items are forbidden and warns that any violators will be disqualified. The test takers quickly line up as the comprehensive assessment starts. Standing still, Alex is surrounded by crackling lightning and thinks that the moment has finally come. He tightens his fist and resolves to write his own fate. The massive gate stands open and signals the start. Yuan checks the list of remaining test takers. Gina, the Supreme Academy supervisor, arrives late and offers an apology as energy trails around him. Yuan waves it off and asks if any test takers are still unaccounted for. After reviewing the records, Gina notes that only a few special cases remain, including Alex at level 18. He then remarks that despite being a forbidden spellcaster, Alex will still be taken in by the Supreme Academy. Yuan remarks that it is a shame Alex is a forbidden spellcaster, since Korra would have gained another powerful talent. Alex's test results are then revealed as the comprehensive assessment score appears. The examiners discuss how strange it is for a forbidden spellcaster to possess such high strength. The announcement introduces the 3rd stage of the assessment and instructs everyone to use their strongest attack skill. Alex studies his hand and considers using his godly chaos, thunder, knowing it would expose him. Alex decides to use only the smallest thunder and activates the sacrifice. He lifts into the air as blue lightning engulfs his body and slams down below. Watching from the side, the examiners are stunned, realizing attacks under level 25 should not be this destructive. Others shout that Alex is only level 18 and question how everything was erased in a single strike. The realization spreads that Alex is using forbidden spells during the final test. Lightning-scorched shadows remain as Alex moves through the devastated area. The destructive force settles and the remaining energy fades away. System notifications appear, confirming that Alex received full marks across several stages of the comprehensive assessment. Yuan comments on how frightening Alex's strength is for his age. Another then turns to Yuan and asks whether the difficulty of the final stage should be increased for him. The instructors argue over whether Alex should be accepted, noting that forbidden spellcasters gain strength at the cost of their lifespan. Yuan looks at the results and agrees that it is a shame. Inside the final examination zone, the remaining test takers move forward. Luke rushes over to Alex and proudly shouts that he scored 96 marks. Alex asks why it was not a perfect score as Luke complains about losing points in the combat assessment. The final rankings are revealed, placing Alex in first place with full marks. The announcement follows that anyone scoring 85 marks or higher may choose to leave, but doing so means forfeiting the ring battle. Nini steps forward and questions why she is ranked below Alex, despite also achieving full marks. The crowd erupts into heated arguments, shouting about fairness and discrimination. Yuan cuts them off and orders everyone to look at the big screen. Examinees praise Nini but admit Alex is on another level after killing a level 25 flame wolf with 1 skill. Examinees shout in disbelief that Alex killed a demonic flame wolf in under a second. As they watch the replay, they They finally understand why Alex took first place despite both having full marks. Yuan then asks if there are any remaining objections to the final test results. Nini pauses as the examiner announces that those with 85 marks or above may rest and prepare for the tournament. The principals talk about the rankings, noting Alex took first place with both top scorers from Quora Academy. Principal Gosh laughs and praises the Academy's luck this year. The principals caution each other not to celebrate too early, saying the tournament is the real test. Half an hour later, Nini and Alex pass by each other in silence, and neither says a word. Nini clenches her fist and vows not to lose to Alex in the tournament. Alex notices something is off with her and wonders what is wrong. The tournament rules are announced, explaining the lottery format and advancement system. The matchup board reveals Alex as number 18, facing number 86. As Luke cheers him on, Alex says he is heading out. The examiner orders both test takers to reveal their profession and level as the match begins. Bei, a water mage, arrogantly tells him to surrender, despite acknowledging his strength. Without reacting, Alex raises his hand as lightning gathers at his fingertips. In the next instant, blue lightning slams down and rips through the arena. The battlefield is swallowed by light as the crowd watches in disbelief. Students gasp and stumble back as lightning slams down and overwhelms Bei. The ground fractures as the energy fades away. The examiner immediately steps in and warns Alex that killing is forbidden in the tournament. Alex calmly explains that he has no intention of killing and only wants Bei to surrender. Shaken and terrified, Bei collapses and concedes the fight. Students whisper in shock, calling Alex ruthless for making the water mage cry. Alex calmly tells Bei to surrender without pressing further. The examiner announces Alex as the winner of the first round, awarding him 10 marks. Alex turns away, thinking it is a shame. Watching from the side, Nini tightens her grip and declares that Alex will not defeat her. Elsewhere, Rocky, a spearman, lands without hesitation as Luke challenges him directly. Laughing bitterly, Luke admits he has never experienced such an overwhelming difference in levels. The results scroll by as winners are announced one after another. The second round of the tournament is officially declared. Shane, a cloud-stepping swordsman, notes that fighting Alex may not be easy. Shane steels himself and insists he will still win the fight. Alex calmly draws his blade, making Shane realize he cannot relax even for a moment. Panic takes over as Shane suddenly shouts his surrender. He raises his hand, ending the match on the spot. Alex is left staring in shock at how quickly it ended. Shane grits his teeth and tells himself that he would have won, promising revenge another day. The examiner then announces that Alex wins the second round and gains 10 marks. Around them, examinees react in disbelief, shocked that Alex advanced without fighting. The third round is officially declared. Seeing the matchup, Alex's next opponent panics and curses his bad luck. Examinees whisper in disbelief that Alex cleared 3 rounds, using only one forbidden skill. Attention then shifts to another ring as weapons collide in a fierce exchange between Gerard, a swordsman, and Rocky. Gerard declares that his opponent will be on the losing side, but Rocky responds that it will not happen. Watching the clash, others admit that battles between strong opponents are frightening to see. The crowd turns to watch another intense match as weapons collide on the screen. Yuan asks Gina who will win, and her answer is Rocky. Without hesitation, Rocky releases a spear technique called Shadow Cloud Pierce. Dark energy crashes down and smashes Gerard into the ground. The strike ends with blood splattering. The examiner announces that Alex will skip the 5th round once again. Alex suddenly reacts in surprise, seeing Nini and Luke are matched against each other. Watching Luke, Nini questions why he would choose to serve Alex. Luke responds loudly, declaring Alex as his boss and warning others not to look down on him. Nini unleashes a barrage of fiery projectiles, forcing Luke to defend himself. The flames explode, one after another, shaking the arena. Luke is thrown into the air as fire erupts below him. Struggling to advance, he realizes he cannot get close due to the long-range attacks. From above, Nini calmly taunts him and challenges him to keep dodging. A massive pillar of flame erupts and blocks Luke's advance. He jumps onto the rising fire, barely avoiding the blast beneath him. Realizing he cannot keep dodging forever, Luke decides to counterattack. With a single sword slash, he cleaves through the flames. From above, Nini remains calm and observes the outcome. Luke struggles to catch his breath, but insists on continuing the fight. Nini scolds him for being stubborn and immediately unleashes a massive surge of flames, ordering him to surrender. The fire engulfs Luke as she warns that anyone who underestimates her will pay the price. From the side, Alex remarks that Luke is clearly outmatched. The examiners react as the flames surge, sensing that Luke is about to be defeated. His figure is quickly engulfed as the fire closes in. From above, Nini spots him and shouts in shock. Pushing his body beyond its limits, Luke bursts out of the flames and rushes forward to attack her. He screams as he strikes and makes it clear that this was only a warning. Luke staggers on his feet and warns Nini not to push him further. He crashes to the ground, prompting Alex to rush over and call out to him. Officials immediately shout for medics as the situation turns serious. Alex kneels beside Luke and tells him to hold on while checking his injuries. Standing nearby, Nini apologizes and admits she did not mean for things to escalate this badly. The examiner confirms that Luke is not in mortal danger but has serious burns and must be taken to the hospital. Attention then shifts to the quarterfinal matchups as the next battles are announced. The principals discuss if Rocky will win and one answers with full confidence. Other principals disagree, insisting a level 18 forbidden spellcaster cannot last even one spell. Principal Gosh stops the argument and announces that the round is starting. Rocky steps forward and declares that he finally gets to fight Alex. He boasts that, as long as Alex is still standing, this year's top scorer will be him. Alex answers by questioning Rocky's confidence as he raises his weapon. As the match begins, Rocky charges in without hesitation. Alex blocks the first attack and makes it clear he will not use forbidden spells, relying on his lifespan sword skill instead. Rocky is unable to believe a forbidden spellcaster would fight with a sword up close. He follows up with a powerful downward strike, trying to overwhelm him. In response, Alex activates his lifespan sword skill and meets the attack head-on. Rocky strains and cries out as the clash pushes him back. Around the arena, spectators question why Alex is not using any spells. The principals quickly realize that Alex is not using a forbidden spell, but a sword skill that consumes his lifespan. They debate how many times he can keep swinging and whether the cost is worth the victory. On the battlefield, Alex advances and asks Rocky if he is surrendering yet. Pushed into a corner, Rocky snaps and shouts that Alex forced his hand. He then counters with heavy shadow strike, slamming his attack down. Alex suddenly senses something wrong and instinctively feels danger. His eyes catch the forbidden spell talisman in Rocky's hand, and he realizes what is about to happen. Rocky brings his weapon down and unleashes Shadow Dragon Meteor with full intent to kill. The spell hits Alex directly, drawing blood on impact. A massive shockwave follows as the forbidden spell explodes across the arena. Alex's sword sinks into the ground as the aftermath settles, and a black liquid drips from his injury. He groans and forces himself to endure the pain. Standing over him, Rocky tells him he will not last much longer and should die already. As Alex lowers his head, the crowd starts to question whether the match is over. The crowd whispers in disbelief after realizing Rocky used a forbidden spell talisman that heavily damages the body. Examinees erupt into heated arguments, criticizing Yukai Academy for allowing Rocky to use a forbidden spell while others shout for medics. The crowd continues to argue, accusing Rocky of cheating and refusing to accept defeat. Watching the scene unfold, Nini admits that even she would not have been able to block that attack. She grows anxious and wonders if he has really died, blaming Rocky for pushing things too far. Rocky mocks Alex and says he is still losing even at level 18. Alex lifts his head and calmly asks who decided he had lost, blood dripping down his face. Even with his heart pierced, he rises into the air as his body rapidly recovers. He then reveals his undying spell, showing that forbidden spellcasters can only die by their own spells. The crowd explodes in shock as they realize he is still alive after such a fatal blow. Watching closely, the examiners understand that Alex has mastered a forbidden spell long thought lost, using lifespan exchange to heal even deadly wounds. Alex lifts his hand and calmly signals that it is his turn. A world-destroying thunder crashes down, forming a massive pillar of lightning. The arena shatters as the ground is torn open by the strike. Watching in horror, Rocky screams that it is impossible. He is then swallowed by the thunder as the attack overwhelms him. The crowd erupts in panic, shaken by the terrifying power they just witnessed. An examiner quickly declares Alex the winner and calls for medics to rush in. As the dust settles, Alex looks ahead and notices the principals observing from the stairs. Exchanging glances, they quietly state that everything is now set. Alex coughs violently and struggles to stay on his feet. Around him, the principals break into heated arguments, claiming the forbidden spell has wrecked his internal organs. Forcing himself to remain conscious, Alex decides to play it up. Principal Sue suddenly demands to file a report, accusing Yukai Academy of allowing forbidden spells against a level 18 job changer. The other principals immediately push back, insisting that only the winner matters and that Yukai Academy has already gone too far. Alex rests on the ground and reflects that the final exam feels more tiring than his fight with Kenta. Falling debris catches his attention, and he senses more trouble coming. Nini steps forward and tells him to rest and recover before continuing. Alex calmly refuses, saying there is no need to take advantage. 30 minutes later, the situation shifts. The announcement rings out, declaring that the final round is about to begin and that the winner will become this year's top scorer. Watching Alex closely, Nini reflects on how dangerous his previous fight was. Alex, in turn, thinks about the forbidden spell Rocky used and realizes it could have severely injured her. Without hesitation, Nini launches forward and releases explosive Phoenix Flame. The arena explodes as Alex raises his guard and blocks the blazing attack head-on. Alex twists through the air as waves of flame crash past him, narrowly avoiding the explosions. The crowd grows confused, questioning why he refuses to counterattack. Nini presses forward and confronts him, demanding to know why he keeps dodging. Alex backs away again, and calmly wonders whether there is any rule stopping him from doing so. With her patience running out, Nini gathers more power and declares she will find out how long he can last. A violent spiral of flames erupts as Nini presses the attack again. Caught inside the firestorm, Alex judges the spell to be difficult to handle. Without hesitation, he forces his speed higher and bursts into motion. A sharp streak cuts straight up through the flames, tearing a path through the vortex. Watching the movement, Nini realizes just how fast Alex has become. Nini staggers back, crying out as her attack fails. Alex closes the distance, raises his blade, and calmly tells her the match is over. Humiliated, Nini explodes in anger and shouts at him for embarrassing her. Refusing to accept defeat, she attacks again in a rage. Alex slips past the strike and thinks to himself how arrogant and reckless her fighting has become. Nini taunts Alex, daring him to keep dodging if he can. Flames spiral inward as she gathers power at the center of the arena. The crowd stiffens as intense pressure fills the air. With a sudden release, Nini unleashes Fire Tornado. Alex bursts into motion and slips past the attack, barely avoiding the raging inferno. Alex sees the flames curve toward him and realizes the attack is homing in on his movement. Streams of fire chase him relentlessly as he runs at full speed across the arena. Nini tells her to admit defeat, but Alex mocks her and asks if she is talking to herself. In a sudden burst of speed, Alex dashes straight toward Nini. Nini states that using a homing skill against someone this fast is a bad decision in direct combat. Alex answers calmly, saying this is basic knowledge everyone should already know. The two stand facing each other as burning vortexes continue to spin around them. Tightening her expression, Nini mutters that Alex is dreaming if he thinks she will back down. She then gathers her flames and declares that she will not lose, even if she has to force it. Seeing the situation spiral, Nini's dad shouts in panic and warns her not to act recklessly. At the same time, officials in the stands rush forward and urgently prepare to intervene to save both. Massive columns of fire continue to churn around the arena as the pressure builds. Alex suddenly closes the distance and remarks that Nini is being reckless. He grabs her wrist and forcibly stops her from continuing the spell. In the same motion, Alex throws her aside while triggering a sacrifice to break the attack. The raging flames then collapse, slamming into the ground and shaking the entire arena. A colossal stone wall erupts from the ground as the Wailing Wall is activated. A demonic stone face forms on its surface, red eyes glowing as immense pressure spreads. The barrier completes its rise, blocking the raging flames completely. Below, spectators look up in shock, unable to believe an examinee could cast a forbidden spell of this level. Watching it hold, Alex tightens his fist and realizes he was lucky to unlock this spell when he did. Alex moves in close and bluntly tells Nini to stop fooling around, noting how disheveled she looks. She suddenly groans as a strange weakness hits her body. From the sidelines, spectators watch in confusion, wondering why her assault suddenly stalled. Taking advantage of the opening, Alex steps in and knocks her off balance. She is sent crashing to the ground. The crowd looks on in confusion as Alex and Nini are finally separated. Watching from the side, Zora is clearly embarrassed for his daughter. Nini calls out to Alex and insists that she is not finished yet. Before anything else can happen, the examiner announces Alex as the winner of the final round and awards him 10 marks. Seeing the results, Alex finally relaxes as the crowd celebrates him as the top scorer. As the top scorer, Alex is asked which academy he wants to join, and he immediately chooses the Supreme Academy. The crowd cheers loudly, unaware of the tension forming nearby. From the background, a figure with an unsettling presence watches in silence. Moments later, several officials step forward and tell Alex that he is not permitted to enter the Supreme Academy. Alex turns back in confusion as people gather, stunned by the sudden rejection. Gina states that Alex is not allowed to enter the Supreme Academy because he is a forbidden spellcaster. Alex accepts the explanation without protest and quietly says he understands. Around them, examinees are confused about why the top scorer is being turned away. Before the situation settles, a voice suddenly stops them. Zora then rushes over with Alex and reveals that the issue they were worried about already has a solution. Gina asks what he means. Zora explains that he discovered a way to greatly reduce the damage caused by casting forbidden spells. Gina reacts in disbelief and questions whether this is really possible. Zora calmly responds that his expertise as an astrologer allows him to slow the loss of lifespan tied to forbidden spells. Even so, Gina warns that the Supreme Academy does not recruit forbidden spellcasters, but Zora insists. Examinees quietly whisper, guessing at the connection between Zora and Gina. Alex then tells Zora to forget about the Supreme Academy, as it is just another school. Suddenly, a blue figure charges in at extreme speed, cutting off the conversation. A warning shout rings out for Alex to look out as the attack closes in. In the next instant, Alex reacts and blocks the blue energy exploding outward. Alex catches the sudden attack and demands to know who struck him. The mystery guy claims a forbidden spellcaster is nothing more than wind-blown dust. He then introduces himself as Lucas, a first-year Supreme Academy student, and tells Alex to remember him. Gina immediately intervenes, reprimanding Lucas and ordering him to apologize. Lucas laughs it off, insisting he meant no harm and was only testing Alex's strength. Officials step forward and ask Alex if he is injured anywhere, while Alex answers that he is fine. Alex asks what just happened as everyone regroups after the sudden clash. Lucas responds with arrogant laughter, telling Alex he is free to challenge him anytime. Lucas warns that if Alex dares to survive, he will surely come back for revenge. He laughs loudly and mocks Alex, claiming Alex will never defeat him in this lifetime. Alex vows that one day they will face each other in a battle of life and death. Zora warns him not to act rashly, and the crowd reacts in disbelief. Alex looks over calmly and questions whether Lucas truly dares to make such a challenge. Without backing down, Lucas accepts immediately and sets the duel for 1 year later. Alex then turns away with a faint smile, commenting that the Supreme Academy seems interesting after all. As he walks ahead, the crowd bursts into cheers and chants Alex's name as Korra's top scorer. Alex checks on Nini and asks Zora if she is alright. Zora calmly explains that she is only shaken by the loss and will recover soon. When Alex brings up the past, Zora admits that Gina was his first love. At that moment, Nini comes down the stairs and overhears the confession. The sudden revelation leaves Alex completely stunned. Alex listens as Zora sighs and says the story goes back to his early days at the academy. Zora explains that he met Gina when he was young, and the two were close for a time before separating due to their differences. Hearing this, Nini asks if they ever reconciled. Zora pauses and admits that they did not. Taking it in, Alex quietly remarks that it is a shame things ended like that. Zora tells Alex to put the past behind him and says it will not affect his future. He then advises Alex to choose Daxia Academy, reassuring him that it fits his strength and potential. Alex accepts the suggestion calmly and says the academy seems fine to him. The next day, everyone rushes toward a towering building. At the entrance, Principal Gosh announces the arrival of the top scorers from Korra Academy. Gina announces that Nini has been officially approved to join the Supreme Academy. Standing nearby, Nini quietly notes to herself that she has finally won against Alex. Gosh then explains that Alex will still receive a 5 million reward as the top scorer prize. Wayne, the Korra City Lord, steps forward to greet Alex and praises his temperament as exceptional. As they shake hands, the surrounding crowd murmurs and senses that Wayne already holds Alex in high regard. Alex asks City Lord Wayne when the promised 5 million reward will be handed over. Wayne explains that the reward is still being prepared and will be given shortly. Assistants then step forward carrying additional prizes for the top scorer. It is revealed that Alex will also receive an epic grade self-selection skill scroll. Hearing that the top scorer realm grants immunity from damage inside the realm, Alex reacts in disbelief. Alex is stunned to learn that the top scorer realm provides immunity to damage. Wayne encourages him and says he has high expectations for what comes next. Wayne then explains that achieving the highest score in the realm will grant the title of the nation's top scorer. Holding the reward tightly, Alex confidently says he will claim that title. Satisfied, Wayne laughs and suggests taking a group photo. Walking beneath the trees, Zora warns Alex to never use lifespan-consuming skills inside the top scorer realm. Alex answers calmly, noting that although the secret realm provides immunity to damage, Zora tells Alex that he has other matters to take care of and that Alex should continue on his own. Alex calmly agrees and says it is no problem. Walking through the bustling streets, Alex notes that this is his first time visiting Korra. He soon arrives outside a marina building and pauses to take in his surroundings. Outside, a receptionist confirms his identity and asks him to follow her to his accommodation. The receptionist tells Alex that the top scorer realm will not open yet and that he has plenty of time to rest. Alex settles onto the bed, finally relaxing after everything that happened. As he looks at the reward in his hand, he thinks about the top scorer realm and considers going out to explore Korra. Suddenly, loud knocking echoes as his door begins to open. Alex gets up in confusion, wondering who could be knocking on the door to a single room. Heavy knocking suddenly echoes through the room, snapping Alex out of his thoughts. He turns in confusion and asks who is there. When the door opens, Lily, another student, stands in the hallway and stares him down. Alex immediately questions who she is and why she is in his room. Before he can react, Lily suddenly charges forward and throws a punch. Lily lashes out at Alex, accusing him of lying and warning him not to play tricks. Seeing no other option, Alex decides to act. In an instant, dark wooden roots explode from the floor as Realm of Wood activates, binding Lily in place. She panics and struggles as the roots tighten, realizing she cannot escape. Watching her flail, Alex calmly tells her that resisting is pointless and orders her to stop. Alex raises his room card and shows Lily that his room number is 6099. Lily is stunned when she realizes her own room card also says 6099. As the misunderstanding becomes clear, Alex releases the spell and the wooden roots withdraw. He tells her to look closely if she still does not believe him. Lily then stares at her card in confusion as she notices the number is actually 6609. Lily looks down at the room card in shock, unable to understand how it changed to it. Realizing her mistake, she quickly apologizes for acting without thinking. Alex brushes it off and tells her to forget about it, reminding her to have the staff fix the damaged door later. Trying to make up for it, Lily walks alongside him and offers to treat him to a meal. As they stroll through the city streets at night, Lily introduces herself as a Korra student. Lily admits that she once planned to enter the Supreme Academy, but they refuse to take her in. Hearing this, Alex reacts with surprise as she explains that forbidden spellcasters are rejected no matter how strong they are. Lily then awkwardly realizes that Alex falls into the same category and trails off. Alex waves it off and tells her to forget about it, saying there is no need to dwell on the past. Trying to change the mood, Lily perks up and suggests going to a famous restaurant nearby to eat. As Alex and Lily reach the venue, a sudden voice calls out to Lily. She turns in surprise, instantly recognizing who it is. Rona, an entertainer, steps forward and mocks Lily. She greets her and boldly flirts with Alex. Alex declines calmly, explaining he is only here to eat with friends. Alex casually tells Rona to keep her distance, bluntly saying she has bad breath. Offended, Rona snaps back while Lily turns away and struggles to hold in her laughter. Regaining her composure, Rona steps forward with a mocking grin and claims Alex has missed his chance. Alex ignores her completely and tells Lily they should eat somewhere else. Suddenly, someone steps forward and stops them from walking. Xiao, a level 2 Angel Paladin, steps in and immediately orders Alex to apologize to Rona. Looking down arrogantly, Xiao declares his hatred for people from insignificant places. Rona then turns to Alex and tells him to treat this as a lesson. Lily freezes when she realizes Xiao's level and admits they stand no chance against him. Hearing all this, Alex simply notes that he despises rich punks like him. Xiao releases his power and a radiant angel presence fills the street. Alex declares that he wants to fight a level 2 Angel Paladin. As Xiao's holy wings spread, the surrounding crowd gathers in shock. Before things escalate, an investigator intervenes and announces that job changers are forbidden from fighting inside the city. Lily talks to Alex and notes that the top scorer realm is about to open. Xiao gives one last warning, telling them not to stir trouble inside the top scorer realm. He then calls Rona to leave, and the two walk away together. Left behind, Lily bows her head and apologizes to Alex for causing trouble again. Alex asks who that person was and why Rona seemed so hostile toward her. With a quiet sigh, Lily finally reveals that Rona is her half-sister and that their conflict goes back to childhood. Alex suggests treating Lily to a meal and tells her not to dwell on what happened earlier. Lily looks around and realizes they are still eating there, noting that the place is well known and the food is good. The scene shifts to the third day as the towering gate of the top scorer realm rises before a massive crowd. A surveillance camera suddenly activates with a sharp beep. Zen, the supervisor, addresses them and announces that the top scorer realm is about to open. Zen tells everyone to get ready. Noticing the supplies, Lily asks Alex why he prepared so much food. Alex explains calmly that they will be staying inside the secret realm for several days and he wants to avoid starving. Before anyone can respond, Zen raises a finger and announces that there are important rules to follow. He then explains that once inside the secret realm, leaving is forbidden and violating the rules will lead to serious consequences. Zen raises his hands and begins the second reminder, drawing the full attention of the crowd. He explains that inside the secret realm, losing a limb is permanent and urges everyone to carry healing supplies if they can. Zen then warns that being swallowed by a demonic monster is far worse, as the pain from digestion is unbearable. Hearing this, the testers grow uneasy, realizing that immunity does not block sensation or pain. Zen ends by wishing all top scorers good luck and gives the order to open the teleportation portal. He reminds everyone that teams must be formed before entering. Lily looks at Alex and asks if they should team up. Alex agrees without hesitation, adding that she will need to carry the supplies. Their exchange is interrupted when another contestant named Carlo points out that Alex is not being a gentleman. At that moment, Carlo steps forward and offers to team up instead with Lily. Lily steps forward and releases her power, intimidating Carlo. Meanwhile, Rona loudly asks who wants to join their team. Her words attract several testers. Turning his attention, Xiao then calls out to Alex directly. He reveals that he investigated Alex's background and mocks him for coming from a small county town. Xiao stares Alex down and declares that this is his final chance, demanding that Alex kneel and beg for forgiveness. Alex responds with a laugh, brushing him off and calling him an idiot. Losing control, Xiao charges forward and swings wildly. Before the blow can land, Zen stops the attack and shouts for him to stop before things escalate any further. Zen shouts that the secret realm has officially opened. Xiao tells Alex to wait for now, saying they can deal with him later. From the crowd, a warning follows from Lily calling Xiao reckless and urging Alex to stay cautious inside. Ignoring the concern, Alex walks straight toward the glowing entrance. Moments later, Alex and Lily arrive inside and are surprised by how peaceful it looks despite the hidden danger. A stone gargoyle crashes down in their path, and Lily immediately warns that it is a level 2-0 monster. She enlarges herself so Alex can conserve his strength. She mocks the gargoyle and sneers that she will crush it easily. Watching the exchange, Alex notes that the creature fights like a demon and decides not to waste time. In the next instant, he releases his curse magic and causes the gargoyle's body to explode. Lily stares at the scene in shock after the monster was killed instantly. A system notification confirms the kill and awards the experience. Alex comments that it is fortunate the secret realm provides damage immunity, since his body would not have survived the backlash. Hearing this, Lily reacts in disbelief as he explains how brutal forbidden spells cast through sacrifice really are. Not wasting time, Alex tells her to move on and warns that the stronger the monsters become, the deeper they go. As they walk, Alex thinks about how being a forbidden spellcaster led to his rejection from the Supreme Academy. He calmly reflects that trading lifespan for the power to do what he wants is not such a bad deal. Suddenly, Alex senses danger and snaps his head up. In the next instant, a huge demonic figure descends from above and looms over them. A giant poison centipede is identified as a level 2-5 monster. Alex and Lily look up at the creature, and she reacts in disbelief. Without hesitation, the centipede launches forward, crashing down with its massive body. Alex carries her as they escape the monster. Alex coughs as poison splashes, but he tells Lily to leave it to him. Without hesitation, he activates Sacrifice. A massive pillar of blue lightning crashes down as world-destroying thunder is unleashed. The strike rips through the battlefield, wiping out everything in its path. As the dust settles, a level 2-2 poison scorpion appears ahead. Shortly, a level 2-5 skeleton blade shield warrior suddenly drops from above. Before it can even act, the skeleton is struck and killed instantly. Moments later, another enemy bursts from the ground and catches Alex off guard again. This time, a level 2-8 Abyss Ratman reveals itself and attempts to ambush Alex. He reacts instantly, raising his hand and calling down eternal thunder to strike the creature. It crashes down and shatters the ground. As the dust settles, a level up notification appears, and Lily celebrates that she finally leveled up. Excited, she pieces things together and realizes that Alex is a forbidden spellcaster who can unleash huge damage safely inside the realm. Alex calmly confirms her realization. Looking at his status screen, Alex reflects that now that he has reached level 20, and it is time to unlock his second talent. After reaching level 20, Alex realizes his second talent allows him to upgrade all spells he uses. Lily hands him the Fireball spell scroll she picked up and urges him to try it. Activating Fireball, Alex wonders whether it still counts as a regular spell. As his talent triggers, the spell is instantly upgraded into the forbidden spell Flame God's Breath. Curious about its strength, Alex decides to test it. In the next instant, a massive wave of flames surges forward, burning everything in its path. The forbidden spell, Flame God's Breath, swells into a gigantic sphere of fire. In the next instant, it detonates like a miniature sun. Watching the devastation, Lily reacts in awe while Alex appears satisfied with the result. Without lingering, Alex reminds her that time is limited and urges them to continue leveling. Far away, Xiao and Rona pause as they witness the massive explosion from a distance. Rona questions what kind of skill could be that loud, while Xiao wonders if an invigilator entered the secret realm. Elsewhere, Zen stares at the blast and asks what is happening. Meanwhile, Alex looks for a place to eat, and Lily marvels at how quickly they are leveling up. As they prepare to move on, Alex pauses for a moment, then suddenly grows alert as he senses danger ahead. Alex peers through the trees and tells Lily to look. A level 2-8 treasure toad is revealed hiding among the rocks, quietly breathing. Alex explains that it swallows treasures, and the higher its level, the more valuable the items inside. Noting its level, Lily adds that there is a strong chance it will drop something good. The two quietly move behind the bushes and prepare for an ambush. Alex tells Lily that he will control the target while she catches it, and she agrees. Before they can act, Xiao and Rona suddenly appear and ambush them from behind. Startled by the sudden disturbance, the treasure toad suddenly moves. As everything erupts at once, Alex shouts for Lily to act immediately. In the next instant, Alex releases his control as energy surges. Alex curses as he realizes someone has suddenly ruined their plan. Xiao immediately declares that it is time to settle the score, vowing to make Alex experience something worse than death. Alex goes on to say that Xiao appeared at the worst possible moment and ruined his plan. When Carlo sees Alex forming a fireball, he mocks him and calls him an idiot for thinking it would work. In the next instant, the fireball suddenly turns into a miniature sun, stunning Xiao and Carlo. Alex throws the fireball forward, intentionally letting it pass by Xiao and Rona. As the blazing mass rushes past, the two panic by how overwhelming its power feels. Alex then tells them to relax and calmly activates a skill scroll, revealing Ice Vortex spell. Ice blue energy coils around him as Rona warns Alex not to come any closer. In the next instant, the ice condenses into multiple sharp, blade-like projectiles that shoot forward. Sharp ice projectiles hang suspended in the air around Xiao and Rona. They stare upward in shock, questioning how an ice vortex spell could have such power. Alex steps forward and tells them to try experiencing it themselves. The ice projectiles suddenly shoot downward, converging toward them. As the frozen blades slam in, Xiao activates his holy shield. The ice projectiles collide with Xiao's holy shield, the two forces crashing together as the frozen blades continue pressing down. Xiao shouts in disbelief, questioning if Alex is serious. Pushing himself, Xiao activates the golden 10-fist sword and swings his glowing blade. The golden slash surges upward, slicing through the falling ice projectiles. Xiao rallies the group and tells everyone to attack together. The ice projectiles continue crashing down, pressing hard against the growing shield. Watching the scene, the others react in disbelief, questioning how Alex can use both fire and ice, and whether he might be a forbidden spellcaster. Alex laughs and says he will show them something more exciting as he activates a scroll labeled Falling Rock spell. In the next instant, a massive boulder crashes down from above, slamming into the area with crushing force. Xiao freezes and mutters in disbelief, questioning if Alex is really this strong. One of them recognizes it is not a normal falling rock spell and calls it the forbidden spell Starfall. A massive rock continues crashing down. Xiao and Rona are struck by the impact. Barely managing to get up, Xiao declares that he is a descendant of the Du family and questions whether Alex truly wants to fight him. Alex tells him to relax and says he will use a bit of his family's power, so he will not die. Before anything can settle, another enormous boulder crashes down from above as onlookers cry out in shock. Xiao and Rona try to reason with Alex, reminding him that they are all students of the Supreme Academy. Alex floats calmly in the air as he questions them. He then reveals that he was rejected by the Supreme Academy, making it clear that they are not classmates. In the next instant, the massive boulder finally slams into the ground. Watching the scene unfold, the other examinees are left staring in terror at the overwhelming power on display. As the dust clears, the shattered ground and massive crater come into view. Xiao and Rona are left embedded in the rubble, groaning as they struggle to move. The remaining examinees land nearby, staring at the devastation in silence. Alex calmly tells them to send Xiao and Rona to get healed, saying there is no need to drag things out further. Moments later, a spatial portal opens, and the two are sent away for treatment. Alex notes that the world is finally quiet after dealing with those troubles, and tells Lily they should see if they can catch up with the treasure toad. Nearby, Zen arrives with the other supervisors and comments on how strong the top scorers are this year. Zen adds that it has been a long time since a single person caused this much disturbance. As reports come in about injured examinees, the supervisors rush toward the scene. Seeing the damage, Zen immediately orders the clerics to heal the injured. Zen asks what they encountered in the secret realm, and a report answers that they just met a forbidden spellcaster. Zen reacts in shock, repeating that it was a forbidden spellcaster. Under the moonlit sky, Alex complains they have chased the toad for so long, and says they lost it and blames those people. Lily asks Alex if he is really not going to eat more, and Alex says he is full and needs to rest. Lily quietly admits she has never seen anyone level up as fast as Alex, then resolves to work harder. Lily looks up in confusion, sensing something massive approaching. A high-grade level 3-6 Cerberus reveals itself, towering over the area. The monster lets out a thunderous roar, flooding the surroundings with pressure. Reacting instantly, Lily grabs Alex and pulls him back. With shock, Alex looks at the monster with fear. Lily admits she did not expect the secret realm to contain something this terrifying. He immediately tells Lily to stay behind, warning her that it is too dangerous. Above them, the three heads of Cerberus rise as the monster prepares to strike. In the next instant, a massive fireball rushes forward, but the Cerberus just devours the strike. They stare in shock after witnessing Cerberus swallow the attack and do not die. The monster rises again as green fluid spirals around its body. The green fluid lashes forward in thick streams like a sweeping wave aimed at them. Alex moves fast and warns that the fluid is extremely corrosive. Alex shouts for Lily not to get caught as it floods the ground around them. Alex is suddenly caught off guard as massive claws drop behind him. Reacting instantly, he speeds up and activates Flame of Karma. Standing face to face with Cerberus, Alex taunts the beast and tells it he will let it eat everything he has. Alex releases eternal thunder, calling lightning down from above towards Cerberus. The strike slams straight into the monster's head, ripping through Cerberus's massive body. The beast reels as blood sprays from the impact, and its form is torn apart. Alex questions if the monster can swallow his attack. A vertical column of blue beam devours the monster. Lily looks over in disbelief and asks if Cerberus is still not dead yet. A mass of black flame swells and spreads, and Alex warns that Cerberus is trying to explode. Alex grabs Lily and shouts for her to run, warning her not to get burned by the black flame. Alex and Lily dash away at full speed, escaping the blast zone. Alex and Lily sit down and agree that they were lucky to escape in time. A strange croaking sound suddenly catches Lily's attention, and she turns to look around. Spotting something ahead, she points in surprise as the golden treasure toad reveals itself in the forest. Alex checks what the creature spits out and identifies it as dragon-scale gold ore, explaining that it is an extremely rare crafting material. He then tells the toad to spit out more as Lily holds the ore, and remarks that it looks like an ordinary rock. Alex scolds the treasure toad and orders it to spit all the treasures out. At a tent, Zen receives a report that the mission is accomplished and the surgery was a success. Zen is told that Xiao and the others are almost fully recovered, and says they will report everything to the higher-ups. Zen warns Xiao that his body has not fully recovered yet, and tells him not to come out. Xiao grips a crutch and calls out Alex's name. Alex faces the treasure toad and angrily declares that he is not done yet. The treasure toad croaks nervously as Alex tells it that it still has not spat out all its treasures. Panicking, the creature croaks repeatedly, while Alex continues pressing it to spit everything out. Alex then crouches down and calmly says there is good news and bad news. He explains that the good news is its suffering is over, but the bad news is that its days are also over. Alex drives crackling lightning into the golden treasure toad. The creature opens its mouth and spits out a glowing spear-shaped item toward Alex. A massive explosion erupts in the forest. The toad expresses its fear, croaking nervously as it watches the aftermath. Holding the spear-shaped item, Alex reacts in surprise and questions its strength. He then remarks that it is not bad and decides to keep it since it looks useful. Without wasting time, Alex tells Lily they should move on to find more monsters. Alex looks around and questions why there are no monsters nearby. Lily explains that it is his fault, pointing out that he killed too many monsters and caused them to disappear. Realizing this, Alex says the secret realm is not over yet and that monsters should still remain inside. Moments later, a glowing red portal appears in the forest ahead. Observers note that with so many monsters gone, those still inside the secret realm will have to venture deeper to find enemies. The group agrees to wait for Xiao and the others, saying they should only level up after fully recovering. As Alex arrives, someone reacts with irritation. Zen asks Alex if he truly intends to leave the secret realm, as a notice states that the top scorer realm will close in 48 hours. Alex responds calmly that he is sure. Zen then tells Alex to record his level and asks him to show his status so it can be documented. Alex shows his status to Zen and confirms his level is 25. The surrounding group reacts in shock, repeating that Alex is level 25. One of them stares in disbelief, saying Alex gained 7 levels in just a few days and has never seen such speed. They point out that Alex was only level 18 when he entered the top scorer secret realm and wonder if he killed all the monsters in the inner area. Alex asks Zen if he can go now, but Zen refuses and says Alex must wait until the secret realm closes to claim his reward. Someone curses their luck, revealing that Xiao complains that they spent a long time chasing the golden treasure toad. One of them reports that all the monsters in the secret realm were wiped out by Alex. When Xiao realizes that Alex is already level 25, he curses in disbelief. Lily remarks that some people are truly miserable, while Alex remains silent. Xiao and Rona complain angrily, criticizing forbidden spellcasters and saying they kill monsters too easily. Lily immediately snaps back, saying it is a skill issue and pointing out that Xiao cannot kill monsters because he is not strong enough. Before the argument can continue, a burst of pink energy suddenly explodes. Alex turns in surprise at the sudden disturbance, while Lily looks on in shock and shouts that the ground is shaking. The skies turn pink, while the examinees ask what is happening as the tremors grow stronger. At the same time, the exit of the secret realm starts disappearing and causes panicked voices to ask if they can still leave. In the next moment, a towering pillar of pink energy erupts into the sky. From around the pillar, dark monsters begin pouring out as a massive figure emerges among them. Alex and Zen stare ahead in shock as countless figures reveal themselves, realizing they are demonic entities. A horrified reaction follows, stating that appearing here is a catastrophe, especially inside the top scorer secret realm. Stepping forward, Zen shouts at them and demands to know how they dare trespass into the human world. Suddenly, a dark purple portal opens and pulses with ominous energy. From within, a demon's voice laughs and declares that Alex is not fit to speak to it, The Demon King steps forward and coldly tells Zen that someone like him dares to speak to them. His eye sharpens with killing intent as it questions his worth. The Demon King declares judgment and says they are courting death. Before the threat can advance, Zen steps forward and orders everyone to stay behind, but a massive monster suddenly appears in front of him. The demon monster throws a heavy punch, but Zen dodges it instantly. Even so, the sheer force of the attack sends Zen sliding backward from the impact. Watching closely, the Demon King orders the monster, Luda, to deal with him. Zen immediately warns the Demon King not to touch the students. The Demon King looks at the students and challenges them to fight him. Several examinees scoff that the demon is only level 20 and declare they will fight him head-on. Kai, a level 2, One God Knight examiner, steps forward and declares that he will fight the Demon King. From the side, examinees shout encouragement, claiming they clearly have the advantage. In the next instant, the Demon King strikes, slashing Kai across the body as blood sprays. Kai cries out as the force of the blow sends him flying backward through the air. Before he can hit the ground, Alex catches Kai midair. The Demon King scoffs and mocks the fallen God Knight, calling the situation a joke. Turning its gaze toward the humans, it sneers and calls them cowards. Xiao then calls out to Alex and asks him to deal with the Demon King. Voices from the crowd begin encouraging Alex, urging him to fight for them. Lily shouts in anger, calling out everyone for mocking Alex earlier and now shamelessly asking him to save them. Xiao angrily says that if Alex had not injured them and killed all the monsters, they would not be in this situation. Alex admits that he is willing to fight demons, but his equipment is not strong enough. As the danger sinks in, Alex realizes he is risking his life fighting demons without proper gear. He then tells Lily to keep all the high-grade equipment and steps forward, warning her to be careful. Watching from afar, the Demon King calmly remarks that humans are interesting and always struggle at moments like this. Alex remarks that there will always be rotten apples and says the chaos around them is disrupting his peace. Above them, the Demon King floats in the air as dark energy surges from his body. Alex looks up and meets the Demon King's gaze, the tension thick between them. Without hesitation, Alex attacks and shouts fireball, sending blazing flames forward. Watching in disbelief, the surrounding examinees question why Alex is using forbidden spells and how he can cast such a powerful fireball. The Demon King twists his body and easily dodges the incoming fireballs. Laughing loudly, he mocks Alex and says that being amusing is the only thing he is good at. In the next instant, Alex suddenly rushes in and lands a direct strike on the Demon King. A close-up reveals Alex smirking calmly after the strike connects. Moments later, the Demon King is hit by a sweeping fire arc and reacts in confusion. The Demon King calmly watches as swirling flames wrap around him. Below, the examinees stare upward in disbelief and question why Alex's fireball is so different and overwhelming. Hope rises as some of them begin cheering, convinced that Alex has won and they are finally safe. That hope vanishes when they notice the flames shrinking and shout that the attack is being absorbed. As the fire fades, the Demon King stands completely unharmed and remarks with interest that this is very intriguing. The Demon King looks at Alex with interest and says he likes him, asking why Alex does not become his subordinate. Alex goes on to promise that when he becomes emperor, the Demon King will be made a crown prince. The Demon King answers coldly and only wants to kill him. Irritated, Alex mutters that he was interrupted and activates sacrifice. In the next instant, Alex dashes to escape the Demon King and uses sudden dance. Violent impacts erupt across the ground as Alex and the Demon King clash at high speed. Feeling the force of each blow, Alex realizes that the Demon King's punches are extremely heavy. In the middle of the exchange, Alex is repeatedly interrupted by the Demon King. Watching anxiously, the examinees shout that Alex is being driven back and question why he is only dodging. Others panic, saying their bodies feel weak and their hands are starting to shake. The Demon King calmly states that as long as he keeps interrupting Alex's spells, he can only run and escape. Alex responds and tells him to look around. As the Demon King does, glowing golden rings begin appearing across the sky. Confused, he asks what those rings are. Alex scoffs, saying it is just an ordinary illumination spell and orders it to explode. A glowing golden ring expands as the spell activates, detonating and exploding outward. The Demon King responds by activating Magic Shield. He smirks and tells Alex he cannot be hurt. In the next instant, Alex activates another forbidden spell called Eternal Thunder. Alex rushes forward and shouts for the attack to pierce through. Lightning crashes down and rips through the ground. The Demon King staggers as the strike hits, letting out a pained groan. Recovering, he swings his weapon at Alex and curses him. Enraged, the Demon King snarls and vows to kill him, prompting him to charge forward. Alex blocks the strike, but Alex is shown coughing blood from the hit. He slams into the ground, tearing a trench behind him. Hovering above, the Demon King declares he will crush Alex and everyone else here. Alex activates Sacrifice from the rubbles. Blue energy explodes outward as Burning Karma activates. Locking his gaze forward, Alex challenges the Demon King and asks if he can withstand this. A burst of golden light detonates around him, swallowing the space. Moments later, the Demon King stares in shock as the sparks suddenly disappear. The towering energy attack finishes crashing down, scorching the ground below. Seeing this, the surrounding examinees react in disbelief and ask if it is over. The view shifts to reveal a massive crater torn into the battlefield. Within it, the Demon King lies injured and mutters in disbelief about how a human could possess such strength. Nearby, a demon soldier turns toward Alex in panic and curses him for daring to harm their king. The monster snarls and threatens to tear Alex apart as a warning rings out. Alex steadies himself against the crater wall, clearly overwhelmed by the difference in strength. In the next instant, a crimson slash tears downward and splits the battlefield. The surrounding examinees react in shock, recognizing the arrival of the city lord. Stepping forward, Feng calmly declares that Alex's help is no longer needed. Feng calmly tells the Demon King that he should have stayed in his own realm. In response, a pillar of golden light crashes down as Feng releases his power. Watching in disbelief, Gina blurts out that Feng is unbelievably strong. Realizing the danger, the monster tells the Demon King to leave and admits that Feng is too strong. The Demon King vows that one day he will cut off their heads. The Demon King turns back and declares that they will meet again. Feng smirks and does not let them escape. In the next instant, a sudden attack flashes toward him. As a warning is shouted, the Demon King recoils in shock and calls out Feng's name. A blinding slash then rips through the sky, cutting straight across his escape route. A violent pressure crashes down, and someone mutters that the force is incredibly strong. The demons are gone when the smoke settles. Feng is told to come to the demon realm if he dares, so he vows to one day bring Daxia's warriors and wipe them all out. With the enemies gone, he descends to meet the top scorers and apologize for the incident. For now, he urges everyone to head back to their homes and rest. They do as told, hurrying to leave the dangerous place right away. They could only exhale in relief as the long day was finally over. Back at his place, Alex thinks about how dangerous the secret realm is. A couple of quick knocks hit his door. To his surprise, he finds the city lord, who's come to check on his injuries. Feng mentions how he single-handedly defeated a royal demon earlier and asks if he's open to using his power to serve the city. With the demon kind moving, they need an existence that can deter them. It's not a bad opportunity, so he says he'll have to ask his master first. Delighted, the lord says he'll go ahead and ask for Zora's permission himself. Another person arrives at his room's doorstep. It's a strange woman, saying she's come with complimentary fruits from the hotel. An odd atmosphere enters with her. While Alex smells something strange, the woman turns with striking speed. Feng turns with her and tells the young man to watch out. She was swinging a knife at him, but a hand quickly gripped her wrist before she could hit him. The lord demanded to know who sent the level 50 assassin. Tightening his grip, he tries to force the answer out of her, even mercilessly kicking her hard across the room. Injured, she sees the knife on the floor and grabs it. There isn't even a hit of hesitation when she impales herself. The assassin's hand fell limp. Her dedication and weapon makes it clear that the enemy is no ordinary person. With that said, Alex decides against accepting the lord's offer for his safety. His answer fuels Feng with anger towards the Wu family, who's likely at fault. It seemed like the night was done, but another set of knocks hit the young man's door. It was Mishu, running to announce that he's officially been deemed the nation's top scorer, even bringing her phone to take a photo and brag about being his partner. She screams as she sees the dead and oddly dressed woman on the screen. Clearly misunderstanding, she's told that it's an assassin sent to kill him. The news gets her all riled up for him. Xiao was furious and scolding his servant for failing to find a proper assassin that can kill Alec. Just then, his father entered the room with a dark grunt. He was even angrier than his son. He doesn't care about his grudge for the boy, but the way he handled it was extremely foolish. Now he's told to get ready as they have to go to Feng and apologize personally. Sometime later, Alex meets with the city lord to be acknowledged as the nation's top scorer. He'll also receive a legendary skill scroll and legendary equipment as his prizes. The young one thought he was going to get money, but this is even better. The equipment is the Sumeru ring, which can absorb and convert energy into psychic power. In addition, it can serve as storage for his items. With this ring, even if he's being attacked by a group of mages, he can absorb their attacks and make his forbidden spells even stronger. It works well with his job. It was time to send him back home to Korra. The teleportation square was filled with a huge crowd. As soon as Alex appears, cheers and chants erupt for the nation's top scorer. He's stunned by the unexpected welcome, and even the principal and city lord are unable to stop the rush of the crowd that was eager to take photos and signatures. They were a bit too enthusiastic for his comfort. Fortunately, Gosh took his arm and dragged him to the sky. He's brought to Zora's mansion, where they talk about the woes of the top scorer. It isn't easy, but the material rewards are generous. His interest is piqued as he's told to rest for the more important things waiting. The Gate of Apocalypse has finally appeared. It's the place where the 7 ancient origin artifacts once appeared. Once he's ready, they'll be going there together. Before that, Alex has to take care of some business in the Job Changer Guild. When he's alone, Zora falls to the ground as his body reaches its breaking point. He doesn't have much time left, and this will be his last chance to do what he has to do. Alex heads to the guild, wanting to trade his scrolls and equipment. He's become too famous, so he has to disguise himself for this. He notices Nini strolling around. Fortunately, she shouldn't be able to recognize him with the illusion mask on. This is what he thinks, but the aura from his back feels so familiar to her. Her heart beats fast as she thinks of one person, certain it's him, the person who saved her, who she's been looking for all this time. She called to him, excusing herself for being a bother. Alex misunderstands and thinks she recognized him, but Nini says he looks like the person who saved her, thinking he's Linge. Alex brushes Nini off, but that exact coldness only reassures her suspicions. She blocks his way and screams his name, questioning why he won't admit it. He faces the guild staff, asking if such commotions are common there. This prompts the employee to control the girl, which fortunately works. Meanwhile, those around them wondered who he was, for someone so beautiful to pine over him. Their surprise and shock grows as Alex steps up to the platform to summon a massive pile of valuable equipment, proving just how formidable of a person he is. Instead of exchanging them for gold, he'd like to trade for other items, so he's handed the catalog of available equipment. He picks a necklace that amplifies spirit power by 50%, which will cost 3 million on top of his traded goods. Lastly, he says he'd like to sell one more thing and reveals the dragon scale gold ore. The staff actually screams in surprise, as do the others from the sight of the invaluable item. Nini couldn't help but fall in deeper awe of her idol. Someone steps onto the platform. The man questions what made his staff scream and forget her training. It's Kane, the guild's vice president who's close to level 60. He wonders the customer what he wants, and is asked for refining stones, which can refine the star level of equipment to rival epic grade gear. The vice president offers 800 for the ore, but he counters with 1,000, promising to deal exclusively with the guild. Their agreement is finalized with a friendly gesture. Kane tells the employee to prepare the items and stay composed when such things happen. However, Alex isn't done yet and reveals one last thing he wants to trade. People gasp as they see the legendary skill scroll, likely the only one in the entire city. This time, even the vice president screams and calls for the president. An old man appears, scolding the vice for losing his composure. Lee calmly asks the young customer what he'd like for the scroll. With the ability to turn normal spells into forbidden ones, he asks for all the guild's normal scrolls. Not knowing his ability, they fall silent at the ridiculous demand. Nini called out, saying he'll be losing too much from the deal. Ordinary scrolls can be bought with money, and she even offers to lend him some. Lee confirms his request one last time, still doubting it. With his answer, he orders his staff to retrieve all ordinary scrolls they have. While they do, Alex is provided a VIP card, which grants a 30% discount in the guild. As the valuable customer waved them goodbye, Kane considered sending someone to protect him, but someone with such rare items won't need protection from them. On the way home, Nini calls to him, having been waiting to tattle on a supposed impersonator. He again insists that she has the wrong person, but she refuses to give in, and even mentions June. Involving the investigators will make things difficult, so he finally agrees to go home with her. Nini rushed to her father, saying she's finally brought Linge to expose Alex. Zora stared, perplexed. His disciple shrugged helplessly while his daughter continued. He was silent, caught in a difficult predicament, but she was still busy convincing him of reconsidering who he wants to turn into a mentee. The astrologer has no choice but to play along and asks for a private talk, so she gives them some space and heads to her room. The two men consider telling her the truth. This is a coincidence, but Zora just got another idea from the unexpected situation. Alex already knows that he wants him to enter the Apocalypse Gate as Linge. As the rain begins to pour, his master confirms the thought, saying the disguise will allow him to go all out. That said, the disciple knows that it also means that no one will care if he disappears or dies inside. He continues to wonder just what his master is plotting against him. They agree on the plan and decide to head out soon. Later on, Alex prepares himself by refining his equipment with the stones he traded. The first refinement is successful and grants the Sumeru ring 1 star. This increases the mental power bonus by 20%. He uses a few more stones, but none of them work successfully. Shaking with disbelief and shock, he clings on to the hope of things working out and uses everything he has on the ring. 100 tries fail, then a couple hundred more, until he's eventually left with one last stone. Fortunately, this works and he ends up with a 3-star ring with 160% mental amplification. As several days have passed, Alex decides to see how Luke was doing. From below, Nini mistakes his silhouette for her savior. Her expression turns sour as soon as she sees who she was happily greeting, and she asks why he was still in their house, saying he's just packing up. He can't help but note her attitude. A while later, he arrives at the Jin family villa, where he finally reunites with Luke. They happily greet each other and ask how they've been doing. Actually, Alex came as he has something he needs his subordinate to do. He leans in and whispers a couple of rumors he needs the young man to spread. It's quite an odd but simple task, so he undertakes it without any issues. A while later, reports of Alex's unruly and immoral conduct are broadcast to the city. Everyone watching comes to their own conclusion about his attitude. Meanwhile, Nini watched, filled with even more disgust towards him. After such an incident, no one cares about the nation's top scorer anymore. The day has come, and Zora asks if he's ready to move out. As they're about to leave, his daughter comes out and calls to Alex, still falling for his disguise. In a pretty dress and with a shy expression, she invites him to watch a movie when they return. Saying he'll think about it later, the two men head out. Fortunately, the Gate of Apocalypse is in the wilderness of Korra, so they don't have to go too far. After a while, the two reach their destination. The Gate of Apocalypse is much larger and imposing than they expected. By the entrance, a group of men come to greet them. It's Tucker, Deputy Director of the Investigation Bureau. As it's time to open the gate, he hands the astrologer the key they acquired, unaware that it's a fake provided to get Alex out of their custody. There's no need to expose the real one now, just to close the gate later. For now, he puts his palm on the gate and commands it to open. The barriers parted, and the legendary place was at their fingertips. Tucker makes sure to have the key returned to him before anything else. Just then, a familiar voice exclaimed from behind them. They see Lee and his men coming despite being completely uninvited. The old man considers it a coincidence and suggests that they let him tag along. Since it's a bit unfair, he offers to scout ahead and risk their safety. It's not a bad idea considering the danger, so they allow the president to take the lead. After the old man and his VIP customer greeted each other, everyone moved forward to enter. Just when they were about to step in, a strong light appeared, but they pushed on nonetheless. On the other side, they see Korra, completely dilapidated and abandoned. They look around to see if there are any people living inside, but it quickly becomes clear that there's not a single living creature in sight. Zora notices something on the ground. It's a fragment of a divine artifact, but has now lost its value. There was absolutely nothing there, be it risk or opportunity. Unwilling to give up, they agree to search separately and scream if they're in danger. Everyone disperses without a hint of hesitation. After all, the game of hidden agendas was finally about to begin. Still, there wasn't even a hint of a ghostly shadow in sight. Alex knew he couldn't trust anyone and had to find something for himself. Fortunately, he has the underground escape skill. He enhances it to spatial leap, which allows him to rematerialize into a destination of his choosing. With the key's guidance, he finds himself in his home in Korra. There, he hears a demonic voice calling his name, saying he's finally come. The guardian of the origin, ancient artifact, says it's waited for him for many years. He comes face to face with the brain-like creature, who states that it's finally time to return the eternal scale to its rightful owner. The guardian reveals the artifact and says it's the reason why Alex has infinite regeneration. Right as he was about to claim it for himself, a familiar voice spoke and attacked from behind. He quickly turned to find Zora, raising his finger threateningly and telling him to put down the artifact. The young man says he used him to find the artifact, but the master doesn't explain as it's already too late now. The guardian tells him to run, as the mage wants to use the scales to take regeneration for himself. The goal made sense considering how he's dying. Finding the creature too talkative, Zora casts a powerful spell and shoots it forward. A single attack from him kills the guardian and blasts the apartment open. At this point, Alex felt the strength of his master, who approached and asked if he was ready to fight him. He desperately summons a fireball and enlarges it before launching. However, no matter how strong his body is, he's still only level 25. A single movement from Zora is all it takes to completely dispel the fireball. It looked hopeless, but the disciple refused to believe that the gap between them was that big. A torrent of flames consumed the master. It dies down almost instantly, a true display of absolute strength. Alex tries again and again, doing everything he possibly can, but his teacher has already reached him. He was caught with no escape. After performing so many divinations, Zora's body was giving up on him. The young man was unable to move at all, meaning he couldn't resist when the astrologer started the sacred ritual. A thread of energy entered his body. It felt like his soul was being drained, like his immortal body was gone. As the power of the scales behind him slowly disappeared, Zora noticed something odd happening to the real artifact. Half of it has always been inside the young man's body. When the balance tilts, one side is infinitely amplified. As long as both parties agree, they can perform an equivalent exchange. Alex questioned why he was explaining this now, but he just continued. The young man screamed while the mage coughed at the edge of his life. Finally, the artifact shot towards him, embedding a new mark on his head. He didn't understand what was happening. Zora was on the floor, half dead, but glad that he succeeded. Alex brimmed with newfound power from the ritual. His regeneration was back and stronger than before. He faces his master, asking why he didn't take his immortality when he could have. Zora just asks when he became so disrespectful and distrustful of him. Finally, the young man realizes that he misunderstood it all. That said, he was plotting against him, but it's for the sake of humanity. It's quite the heavy responsibility. For countless years, his divinations always projected Nini dying at the same point in time. This means that, one way or another, Daxia or all of human civilization will be completely destroyed. Only Alex's future can't be seen, meaning he's the exception to the future. He's the variable, the only one who'll survive and can change the ending. Handing him a pouch of necessary items, Zora mentions the supposed guardian earlier, and says it's actually a fragment of the demon emperor, who wants the eternal scale in his body. For his final words, he asks the young man to take care of his daughter. With his promise, the satisfied father loses the light in his eyes. He endured so much for his disciple and humanity, but Alex still doubted him. Now, the young man sends his master to the other side. Right as he did, the rest of their group arrives at the scene. The two leaders couldn't believe it, and Tucker immediately asks if he killed Zora. Despite his grief, he's ordered to explain what happened. The other investigation officers are tasked to retrieve the body and all the treasures it has. An officer lunges at the praying disciple. Questioning his master's intention of sacrificing himself for such people, Alex summons huge roots that entangle and strangle the aggressor. While completely subdued, the man suddenly feels his life being sucked out of his body. He was going to show no mercy to anyone disturbing Zora's peace, and was ready to absorb their energy to make them his own. It was unbelievable. With the first victim, he receives his first set of nutrients, lifespan, and experience points. Tucker realizes that he must have gotten the artifact, and sends the rest of his men at the boy. However, it's foolish to think that they can even do anything against him. He disappears from their sight, using the same spatial leap he used earlier. Before they could react, he reappears right above them and blasts the space with thick dust. At this point, they don't have any idea what elemental profession he holds. On the other hand, Lee is glad that he didn't act rashly, recognizing the danger. As the investigation bureau continues to scramble, Alex gets ready to repay them for what they did. On the day of his arrest, he casts the wrath of the sea god and summons its trident. Alex shoots the sea god's trident forward. It impales and cuts the target's body in half, but the upper half is blasted by another attack that heads straight to the young man. He dodges it by a hair. Tucker, a level 62 bow hunter, prepares to shoot another projectile. Annoyed by his subordinates, he orders everyone to charge together. They do as told and launch a simultaneous attack, but all their energy blasts are absorbed by the Sumeru ring. Just like that, the massive magic is converted into Alex's own power. Unleashing a massacre, he summons the world-devouring heavenly fire. Hopeless cries ring out as the officers are burned alive on the spot. The entire perimeter is scorched, except for a small area where Tucker summoned a barrier for himself. Infuriated by the useless people around him, he summons his bow to take care of things personally, and calls on the demon god's mother and son arrows. He aims and shoots at Alex, who hops away just in time to dodge. However, this wasn't something that can be dodged so easily. The arrow suddenly opened up from his side and shot several other projectiles at him. It hits his body, but he doesn't feel the effects right away. In fact, he hears the deputy gloating about his power before he keels over and screams in pain. A moment later, his body literally bursts into pieces. Even if he has the eternal scales, no one should be able to regenerate from a pile of meat. Tucker turns away, unaware that Alex is capable of doing exactly what he said. His body hasn't even recovered completely, but the forbidden spellcaster has already shot a hole through the deputy's body. The young man stands up, regenerating as the investigator falls to the ground. Threatened with his position in the bureau, Alex sarcastically feigns fear. Tucker desperately shoots a bow, but his target devours both the attack and all the energy from his body, ending his life for good. The entire ordeal has allowed him to jump 3 levels and increase his main attributes. Called forward, Lee slowly revealed himself, saying the two of them have never been enemies. Fortunately, Alex agrees, so the two look forward to their work in the future. It's best to leave the area immediately, but there's something he has to do. The forbidden spellcaster creates a coffin of unmelting ice. There, he gently lays his master's body to rest, promising to bring him home in peace. The two then head out of the Apocalypse Gate. Lee has subordinates in danger, but it's too risky to save them right now. When the two reach the entrance, something odd happens. A huge beast appears, roaring as it blocks their way. It launches something from its mouth, but the targets are fast enough to jump away in time. Alex volunteers to handle it and casts the flame god's sigh, killing the beast where it stood. When he devours it, he gets a fraction of dragon bloodline on top of the usual stats. The new additions confuse him too, but there was no time to think about it as the entrance was about to collapse. Right as they were getting sucked in, he remembers to use the correct key to keep the gate shut. Just like that, they reappear back in the human realm. Both the gate and the key have disappeared, and no one knows where they'll appear next. Alex intends to bury his master first, so he parts ways with the guild president, who says their organization will always be at his service. At the Zora mansion, pain cries rang out. Nini stared at the coffin, but refused to believe that it was her father who was inside. Alex, again in disguise, apologizes for failing to protect him, but she desperately insists that the two of them must be playing a prank on her. Told that Zora wanted to be buried beside his wife, his daughter fell to the floor, her tears falling on the cold coffin he was in. Her wailing filled the entire mansion as she desperately called to him. Later, she asks how he died, so he explains how his constant divinations for humankind lead to his death. She politely asks him to leave, but raises her voice to a command when he says there's something he must do. Understanding, he gives her the space she needs, telling her to call him if anything happened. The news of Zora and Tucker's deaths, along with Lee's disappearance, reaches the general public. Some mention rumors of Lingi carrying Zora in a coffin of ice. Jun hears the name and sets his eyes on catching Alex like before. They try to do so, but find themselves in an odd place. The dead man's disciple was in an adult establishment, seemingly enjoying his life to the fullest. He even offers to treat the investigator, who promptly refuses, and instead asks where he's been all week. The top scorer says he doesn't even remember. Through with games, Jun uses his power and asks if he followed Zora out of the city. Alex doesn't answer and records him, asking if he has any proof of the accusation. On the contrary, there's proof that he's spent the last few days in entertainment venues. His grip tightens out of frustration, but he eventually lets go and walks away, vowing to find evidence of his involvement. Before he could go, Alex offers a piece of information for free and says he saw Lingay blown into pieces just a few days ago. Jun is stunned as he confirms that the young man wasn't lying. Left even more perplexed, he lets his suspect go. Rain fell on the grim day of Zora's funeral. A crowd formed to grieve over his abrupt and unexpected death, and his daughter is left to deal with it all on her own. As people start to talk about his missing disciple, Alex arrives, and they immediately talk about his immoral life. Drenched from the rain, he apologizes to his master for arriving late. Nini frowned and asks him to leave, saying he isn't welcome there, but he insists that he only wishes to see his teacher off on his last journey. She refuses to even consider him her father's student, and announces to everyone there that they already cut ties a long time ago. Her voice gets even louder while pushing him away, but a group of masked men appear with the crackle of lightning and thunder. They were obviously up to no good, although they insist that they mean no harm whatsoever. Since Zora's death is mysterious, they wish to open the coffin and examine the corpse. She naturally refuses to let them do such a thing. The group's leader calls his subordinates and orders them to forcibly remove the young lady. Furious over their behavior, she starts to summon her power. Her attendants similarly stand against the intruders. Unfortunately, a quick swing of their blades easily takes the bodyguards down. People run in fear as soon as the first life is taken. Nini summons a scarlet sea of flames and shoots it at them, but they just stand there, chuckling. A mere wave of the leader's hand swats the arrogant girl's flames away. She can't believe it, as only level 50 job changers can do what he did. He raises her by her neck, saying he won't kill her out of respect for the deceased. The others move to open the coffin, but a chilling voice tells them to stop. Alex moves so fast that the man is forced to let Nini go, just to keep his arm intact. The ground explodes when he hits the floor, putting some distance between the two groups. He's fully ready to kill everyone there as punishment. The men are similarly unwilling to back down without eliminating him. They summon a barrier around the young man and lock him in stone walls. However, such a weak shield can't possibly contain his forbidden spells. Bolts of eternal thunder roared towards the enemies, taking several of them out at once. Anyone who dares offend the soul of Alex's teacher in heaven will be mercilessly killed. With a push of Alex's hand, another frightening burst of energy kills the next enemy, even blasting the walls wide open. The fourth masked brother was gone. However, the forbidden spellcaster sacrificed his arm for that attack, and Nini can't help but worry about his reckless and crazy tactics. His state gives the intruders hope, especially as he was observably exhausted. Zora sacrificed his life just to save the people, yet scoundrels like them still exist to sully his life. He charged forward to take the next target out, but the leader appeared right behind him, already aiming a beam. The girl cries out and tells him to watch out, but it's too late as the attack has already pierced through his chest. He falls to the ground, unable to breathe, speak, or do anything as they proceed towards the coffin. Nini always hated him, but couldn't help but feel the pain in her heart. They move to retrieve the corpse, but turn around when they feel an odd presence moving. It was Alex, rising from the dead and floating in the air. Using the undying spell to negate the lethal damage, he vows to send them to hell. Meanwhile, they can't comprehend how he's still alive despite all that. Even Nini was in awe. Refusing to give them an explanation, he moves on to use the forbidden eyes of eternal ice. They try to run away and dodge, but they can't even move as their feet become frozen on the ground. The ice travels from the floor to the ceiling, encasing their bodies and killing the masked intruders in an instant. A couple of attendants witness the frightening display. With that settled, Alex descends to his master's body and takes the coffin, no longer listening to Nini's protests. Stunned by his familiar aura, she calmly asks where he's taking her father. Saying he'll bury him himself, the young disciple walks away. In a tall building somewhere, a masked man reports about the gate of the apocalypse to his boss. Hong questions what Zora did inside, that he even lost his life. Asked if he wants to have the corpse retrieved, he orders his men to spy on Alex and Nini instead. Also, he needs them to find Lee as soon as possible. Zora's body is finally buried and laid to rest beside his wife. Nini thanks Alex for what he did today. She hands him some money to treat his injuries, wanting no loose ends between them. He turns away, saying what he did was done for his teacher. Finally, he frankly tells her that she's too opinionated and would be useless without her father. She falls to the ground, aware that this is true, even in her father's death. With this, she cries once more, wondering if she's really so worthless. Alex reunites with Luke, who hurries to check on his friend. As they talk about his missing eye, Jin asks about his plans for the future, even offering to take him in. However, he still wants to live his life to the fullest as he doesn't have much time left. They promise to support him, no matter what he decides to do. He later plops onto his bed. Despite his exhaustion, he takes out the pouch left to him by Zora. There's no message inside, just 2 skill scrolls. The first creates a phantom shadow, and the second lets him enter a state of apparent death. He upgrades the first into complete invisibility, and the second into clone creation. It seems his master had enough foresight to help him get rid of surveillance. Trying it out, he materializes an exact copy of himself. It'll stay with the Jin family and act as a decoy for whoever is following him. Reassured, he jumps out the window and gets on his way, his invisibility allowing him to go completely undetected by the men hiding near his room. His master really did foresee everything. Changing his appearance as well, he emerges with a new identity. The guards at the teleportation gates warn him to be careful outside, but he intends to go as far as he wants and kill as many monsters as he can. His journey of leveling up starts with a canine monster. It barks and growls at him, so he cools the little dog down with an ice-based skill. A huge frozen sword materializes in the air and tears right through the monster's body, allowing Alex to devour its properties like the others. He continues his mission, taking down enemies with only ice spells to support his new identity. After 3 days, he returns to the city after finally breaching level 30. Despite clearing the forest as fast as he can, it still isn't enough. He decides to head to the Job Changer Guild for now. To his surprise, Lee's absence doesn't seem to have any effect on business at all. He tells a staff member that he'd like to post a mission, specifically, monster corpse recycling. As for the price, he wisely asks for the normal market rate. Following this, he says he'll take all monsters below level 20. The employee guesses that he must be a new member, and explains that they'll need a few things. First and foremost, a verification of funds is necessary. Fortunately, the young man's lifetime VIP card for the guild clears all of his doubts. 3 days pass, and the guild is bustling as job changers rush to bring their share of monster corpses for Alex's job posting. Meanwhile, other merchants and alchemists are losing business because of this. They share looks, deciding to do something about it. The latest batch of monsters is piled up and ready for inspection. After a quick look, he decides to take them all, and asks the employee to leave for a while. As soon as the door closes, he starts devouring the pile, satisfied with his method that's much more efficient than killing monsters himself. The properties enter his body, filling him with lifespan, stats, and experience points. The eternal scales appear as Alex fills himself with power. When he later walks out of the guild's warehouse, a bunch of hidden people look at him intently, confirming the characteristics of their target. He heads to an isolated lot on purpose, annoyed that someone is following him even after changing his appearance. Calling to the open space, he says they must be tired. A couple of armed men confirm that he posted the monster collection job. Apparently, someone is paying to take his life. Alex dodges their first attack, offering them double what they're being paid, but they attack again as they intend to take all his money after killing him anyway. They rush the job as they were told to head to a secret realm right after. However, their weapons froze before they could even touch their target. The forbidden spell renders the 2 men completely immobile, and only then do they realize what they're dealing with. Alex demands to know who sent them. Since they're shutting their mouths and staying silent, he urges them a bit and flicks his finger. One man's ear is cut off, and they immediately reveal that a group of people want him dead, as his job posting interfered with their businesses. With this, he moves on and asks about the secret realm they mentioned earlier. It's a realm that opened recently, just 30 kilometers north of Korra. Alex walks away without releasing them, not caring if they die in the ice. There were already a bunch of people at the entrance of the secret realm. Some went in a couple days ago, but not a single person has come out since then. Fortunately, they're smart enough to stay outside, at least until someone exits. This wisdom doesn't last too long. As soon as an artifact-looking item appears by the portal, people greedily scramble and rush in, desperate to take whatever treasure there is despite the risks. Alex watches all alone, suspicious. If there really was an artifact there, someone strong would have taken it already. Just then, someone called from behind, saying he must have noticed too. A person named Sheena insists that something doesn't feel right about it. Not caring about her words, he asks why she's disguised as a man. Her clumsy disguise with too much lip balm and too little body control is called out. Moving on, Alex walks away, not wanting to be involved in something that feels off, but she asks him to wait for a moment. Demons might have made the realm to lure humans, and now she wants to team up and enter. Devouring demons is a tempting thought, but he declines the proposition, even turning down the additional payment she offers just to get him on board. However, he quickly backtracks and changes his attitude. As soon as she mentions an epic-grade equipment, they exchange introductions, and she asks about his profession. Told that he's an ice mage, she provides him with a small box. He's stunned by what he finds inside. It's an item with a domain skill that increases the power of ice-type skills by 100%. Sheena tells Alex to answer already, as her parents will be looking for her. Curious about who she is and why she's so rich, he asks if she snuck out of home. Brushing it off, she asks about his level since he's obviously powerful. She flatters him at first, considering how he reached level 45 at such a young age, but she then insists that he isn't special compared to her, who's level 37 and 3 years younger. He feigns admiration despite not even wanting to be compared to her. That said, she didn't take the final exam, as her dad considers it a waste of time. When he accepts her generous offer, she hands him the epic equipment, and they finalize their partnership. The inside of the secret realm is bleak and dark, and the stench alone could confirm that the place was crawling with demons. She's dealt with them before, but her parents were always by her side. While they wonder where the people who rushed in were sent to, an enormous enemy appears and smashes the ground. The two move and run away just in time. When he has enough distance, Alex counters with Ice Blade and freezes the enemy's entire body instantly. It's a magnificent display of power, but he just brushes it off in front of Sheena. When she sees and asks him why he's absorbing the corpse, he makes a big deal out of growing up poor and selling monsters for money. She offers him all the corpses he wants, as long as he records her fighting a demon later. Their conversations make him think that she isn't too bright. She's been leading him in one direction all along, but it's also possible that she can see traces of demonkin in the realm. They reach a human camp, and the people there aren't keen on having more people stealing their targets. While they seem unfriendly, there's no need to stay there anyway. The night was observably colder than most. Moving up a ravine, Sheena senses the enemy right up ahead. Her senses are sharp, and they find a demon as soon as they reach the top. They're both surprised by each other's presence, especially as the demon is over level 40. The young lady rushes in to fight and tells him to start recording already. Filled with confidence, she summons thin blue threads from her fingertips and shoots them past the enemy. When she pulls back, they tighten and entangle the demon's unexpected body, rendering him immobile. Her skill and expertise are good enough to impress Alex, who was now busy taking a video. Meanwhile, Ragnar struggled and cursed, unable to move his limbs. The caster is sure that those caught by her threads won't be able to break free. Although this is true, the demon's head was free to charge an attack. Sheena is told to get out of the way, but it's too late, and the enemy shoots an energy beam right at her. She manages to form a shield right before it makes contact. However, the blast still hits hard. The blast was enormous and powerful, but Sheena's shield held up well enough to keep her alive. Facing the demon, she admits that she underestimated him, but she wasn't going to make the same mistake, and was now using all her strength. With wings of puppet thread on her back, she chases after him with countless lines, determined to see where he's headed to. Alex warns that this might be a trap, but she falls into it like an arrogant fool. Ragnar eventually stops running when he reaches a certain area, and says it's her turn to run for her life. Taking a look around, they see several other demons surrounding the area. Sheena blames herself for the predicament, and tells Alex to run while she holds them off. He does as told and runs without a hint of hesitation. Ragnar tells the others to go after him. Today, not a single human life was going to be left alive. Escaping at this pace was child's play for the young man. Even when they attacked together, all he needed to do was boost his speed even more to dodge. He heads out first and finds a proper hiding spot. There, he resumes recording, eager to see how the strange girl was going to escape. Slightly surprised by how fast her partner ran away, Sheena does the same and tries to leave the demons behind. They block her way and do their best to stop her, but the young warrior's threads just tear apart everything in her path. It felt like she was going to be able to escape without any problems, but Ragnar wasn't going to let that happen so easily. A ball of dark energy sped through the air and chased after her. Unable to dodge, she desperately flings her threads to destroy the attack, but instead, they're the ones that disintegrate upon contact. There was no way to evade. She screams out loud as the orb hits her, and even Alex knows that there was no getting out of this. When the smoke and dust settles, they see Sheena inside the heavenly demon cage, a tool specially forged by Imperial demons to capture humans. Impressed by her use of the divine artifact, Ragnar is sure she'll be valuable in the demon realm. He starts farming for spoils by reaching out to get the star puppet strings. However, his fingers started gradually freezing, and he soon found his entire arm completely encased in ice. Sheena turns back, worriedly asking why he didn't escape. Alex tosses her phone, saying he was busy recording her fight. After all, it's what they agreed on earlier. He bravely stood against the demon and its underlings, not even batting an eye when Ragnar ordered his people to kill him. Alex casts Absolute Zero and freezes all the demons daring to surround him. Following through with an ice vortex spell, he summons large pikes of ice and pierces through the enemies one by one. A couple more jump to his sides, but they aren't even able to touch him before getting frozen. One appears behind him and gets an attack in. Watching him power through the pain and continue to fight back, Sheena tells him to stop worrying about her and run for his life already. He just tells her to bury him outside the secret realm, if he does get killed there. An attack pierces through his chest, and he barely manages to raise a barrier to block the next hit. Despite this, the force is enough to send him flying. Ragnar couldn't understand how the puny human was still alive. What's more, he was confident enough to stand against the horde of demons before him. They scoff at the young man, who they believed was at the edge of death. As they charged in, he put his hands together and cast a forbidden spell. Huge slabs of ice crashed to the ground, breaking it apart but failing to hit a single enemy. The demons laugh at his terrible aim and leap, unaware that they've fallen right onto his trap. With Alex's command, the shards detonate all at once, eliminating the entire group within a matter of seconds. Even the prison caging Sheena dissipates, and she struggles to believe that he actually killed 20 demons in an instant. His power was terrifying. Even as his entire body shook, he walked toward her with a reassuring smile. However, the backlash from the string of forbidden spells was too much, and he eventually collapsed onto the young lady's arms. His eyes shot open as he felt danger. Ragnar was beside them, but his body won't move as he wants it to. Instead, he just pushes his partner away from danger. A heavy swipe of the demon's hand sends him crashing into a hard boulder. Sheena was forced to watch as he was beaten up, cursing and crying for failing to protect him. The divine threads appeared from her body once more, now stronger and fuller. They wrapped around the enemy in an instant and, with a hateful tug of her fingers, sliced his body into pieces. The battle is finally over, and she's free to run to Alex with medicine from a top-tier alchemy master. He tells her to forget about him and leave the place already, but she refused to let him die and placed the medicine in his mouth. The high-grade medicine was scattered on the floor, as Sheena tried to lodge as many as possible into Alex's mouth. Seeing his empty eyes, she vows to get strong and bring his body out of the realm. The poor girl wept as she hugged his supposedly lifeless body. Suddenly, he coughs and asks her to let go, as she's going to choke the life out of him. She couldn't be more relieved that he was still alive. Determined to keep him safe and bring him to the best cleric in Daxia, she wraps his entire body up with her threads like a thick cocoon. Carrying him on her back, the young lady rushes back to the realm's portal. Waiting there was a group of demons, surrounding a pile of human corpses. It was a horrid and appalling sight to say the least, but it confirms that the realm really is a trap meant to lure in humans. Like before, Alex tells her to leave him there, but she refuses. The demons finally spot and surround them. It was going to be an easy job, especially with their terrible condition. Sheena gets ready to fight, and is told to let her partner out of the cocoon. Finally freeing him, she flies out and tells him to watch her take all the enemies out. While she wreaked havoc and destroyed the area, Alex was left alone with the pile of dead humans. It was the perfect spot for him to get stronger. He devours each and every corpse there, gradually getting stronger by the second, and eventually leveling up a few times. Sheena was in a terrible state, and was probably seconds away from being killed. Just then, they noticed snow gently descending from the dark sky. Right above them stood Alex, completely recovered and in top condition. He waves his hand and summons a wall of ice that tears through the land. Unable to believe that such a terrifying person existed there, a demon rushes to inform his lord, Norris, and shoots a flare high up. With the demons blocking the portal, there must be more humans trapped inside. In fact, Alex was hesitant to leave since this was a great place to level up in. The two later set up camp and roast some meat on the campfire. Sheena expresses her admiration for his recovery ability, knowing how injured he was earlier. While they lighten the mood and talk about her cooking, their heads turn as they suddenly hear something in the woods. She recalls seeing traces of human activity back when she was hunting earlier. Deeper in, a bunch of injured people were gathered around the fire, losing hope of finding anything worthwhile in the realm. They had to escape as soon as possible, but there were countless demons at the exit. One man stood up. Wu Hao, the strongest in the group, says there's only one way to break through, and that's to cruelly use the injured, to lure the demons away for the others. Wu Hao asks if there's anyone who disagrees with his cruel plan. A handful object, knowing it's basically telling the injured to die for whoever has a higher chance of survival. After asking if anyone else disagrees, he moves fast and attacks in the blink of an eye. A couple of men's legs are cut even more, and it happens before they could even react. The men and their partners scream at the inhumane treatment, but the cruel swordsman just asked if anyone else wanted to be bait. Since no one else speaks, they proceed with the plan as he said. A voice unfamiliar to them objects. Sheena stomped forward, questioning how he could act this way. Dissatisfied with her words, Alex steps in to be a good example, and starts throwing an endless string of curses at the man. While the onlookers are stunned by his cadence, Wu Hao growls at the insults and charges in to punish the arrogant newcomers. However, he finds that he can't move at all. His limbs were already bound by Sheena's divine threads, and he falls to the ground as soon as she tugs even a bit tighter. Now, he's just as injured as the others and can be used as bait too. The people then ask the pair to help them leave the realm. That said, Alex has no idea how they're going to do that. The young lady already has something in mind and draws up a plan for what they're going to do by the portal. She wants one strong group to distract the demons and give the wounded a chance to leave. Needing speed specialists in the first group, she asks for volunteers. In addition to Alex, a few more raise their hands, determined to get out of there alive. Sheena was satisfied and had no intention to force others to join, still oblivious to the sinister nature of humans. While they helped each other get ready, Wu Hao had an evil smirk and planned to betray them the moment he got a chance. The exit was still crawling with demons, now even more so than earlier. Despite the plan, Alex heads out on his own, saying they don't need more people. He says he's enough and tells them to find a chance to rush out. Sheena tries to stop him, but it's too late. The demons soon notice the lone man running right towards them. He can feel his partner's worried gaze, but there's no need. Simply passing through the group is enough to freeze and shatter the enemies apart. The others have apparently heard of the ice user's terrifying strength. While they talk about refusing to let him escape this time, Alex scoffs at them and says they should be the one running away. A single attack from him blasts through their bodies. With the taste of Alex's power, the enemies are now a lot more cautious. Meanwhile, Sheena notices something wrong while watching. When he states that they're simply too weak, something crashes down to the ground behind him. A huge and powerful-looking demon appeared, and even Alex could tell that he wasn't like the others. He feels the pressure and jumps away just in time to dodge the heavy axe's blow. It's a chance to bait them away from the exit, but Giri only takes a few with him to the chase. With a few enemies left, the humans have no choice but to fight. They charge in to eliminate the guards, and Sheena leads the charge by decimating the front lines with her threads in an instant. Wu Hao chuckled from afar, surprised that they actually led all the demons away. He tells the uninjured to leave the wounded behind and run with him. One protests, wanting to stick to the plan, but the selfish humans are focused on saving their own lives. The swordsman leads the way forward. Seeing them, Sheena thinks that they're sending back up, but soon realizes that they're heading straight for the portal, even leaving the injured to die on their own. While Wu Hao thanked the fools who believed in them, stone slabs suddenly emerged from the ground and blocked the portal. Confused by the unexpected development, they try to force their way through and unleash their power. Spells hit the stone, but failed to even make it crack. Things became frustratingly hopeless as the walls stood tall. The first group notices that the traitors have fallen for a trap, and see the rest of the demons rushing back from their chase. Led by Giri, they surrounded the puny humans and cut off any chance at escape. They have no choice but to fight back, but it's all futile as the tribe leader's ace cuts through them with ease. Sheena's group takes the opportunity to back away and regroup for now. Meanwhile, Alex was casually waiting where they all started. They're surprised to see each other still there. Asked if the demons had some kind of backup plan, they share how the second group got wiped out after falling to a trap by the entrance. With a dark expression, he says it's his mistake and steps forward to face the enemies on his own. There, the demons were still waiting. He planned to stay behind and go on a secret killing spree, but now he wanted vengeance. Giri, who was more than happy to grant his wish of death, leapt in to clash with the brave human. His great axe clashed with Alex's ice, and their collision is enough to send waves throughout the realm. He doesn't understand how the young man recovered so quickly. To show him many more things he can't even imagine, the forbidden spellcaster starts to devour all the corpses in the area. Giri could only stare in shock and confusion as Alex's body grew stronger by the second. The battle was about to reach its climax. Giri couldn't believe that Alex even devoured his own kind, but it'll be his turn soon. After all, the human doesn't have this many demons to kill outside. Changing his form and empowering his body, he summons the world-devouring thunder. The enemies come together to gather their strength, as this is the only way to create a shield strong enough to block the blast. Surviving, Jiri clings to the hope that the forbidden caster won't last long. Alex plays along and treats them to a special experience. Manipulating both fire and ice, he casts 4 forbidden spells on top of each other and unleashes a devastating attack that the enemies can't block. The land was ravaged. Giri was stunned, unable to believe his strength. Meanwhile, the other demons who managed to dodge ran away in fear, but Alex wasn't going to let any of them leave with their lives. He summons the power of the eternal scales and, like a black hole, sucks the life out of all the enemies in the area. Doing his best to resist, Giri could only question who the mighty human was. Alex emerges, gaining nearly 17,000 points after devouring 22 high-level demons. The tribe leader appears again, still foolishly thinking that he could do anything, but his target catches his heavy axe with a single hand. His entire body shook as he struggled to swing. Just then, Sheena and the others arrive at the scene, and she asks if he actually killed all the demons on his own. If he doesn't pretend a bit, his identity will surely be exposed. As such, he throws himself down and crashes to the ground. She rushes to his aid while the others charge at the enemy. While he put herself between her partner and the demon, Alex feigned injury, even saying that he can't deal with his power, as the demon absorbs the power of his kin to strengthen himself. When she assures him that there's no need to worry anymore, Jiri screams at the despicable lie and accusation. However, Sheena didn't believe him and was intent on making him pay. A quick dash-up allows her to entangle him with her divine threads. They pulled and cut his skin as he struggled, but he was determined to drag the forbidden caster down to death with him. Unfortunately, Alex completely outmatches him now. Before Jiri could react, half of his body was blown apart by Alex's attack. Helplessly falling to the ground, he goes on about getting so wronged in battle, but if the forbidden caster didn't do this, his identity would be revealed to everyone. He regroups with Sheena, saying he wants to get out of there fast. While they talk about something important, he secretly devours the tribe leader's body. Saying her father is outside the portal, Sheena tells him to pretend that they're strangers. While he agrees for now, he calls her his best friend and vows to find her again, even swearing to the heavens that he'll do so. She reveals that her father is the head of one of the 5 great families. He doesn't know what she means. They're the most ancient clans, and Zora was the head of one of the 5. In fact, the rest of the families are investigating the cause of his death. Despite this, Alex is still intent on finding her back in the human realm. They smile and part ways with the promise of meeting again. On the other side of the portal, Hong was waiting with his attendants, and Wang with a stern expression. The others are relieved when the young lady emerges safe and sound, but the father notes how she's grown bold enough to run from home. She happily gives him the recording of her fighting demons, but he just crushes the phone, saying it's the bare minimum after all they did for her. He orders her to enter the Dragon Pool realm and reflect on her actions. Just then, the portal collapsed. Hong asks about the young man, who is standing behind his daughter. She says he's an ice mage who killed quite a lot of demons inside, and that they aren't the least bit close. With blank expressions, the family leaves the area. Alex wondered if he is the mastermind behind the scenes. Since he's been out for too long, he decides to head back to the mansion fast, but feels something odd the moment he steps away. An arrow pierced through his shoulder. A masked attacker is surprised that he actually survived the ambush. Notching another shot, he says he shouldn't have gotten so close to Sheena. Alex can't blow his cover, but taking a hit to the head would kill him. For now, he summons an ice sword and slashes the blade of the arrow off, allowing the projectile to hit him square in the chest. He falls to the ground and plays dead, but the killer is a professional who's going to make sure he's dead. Alex dodges, annoyed by his thoroughness. Meanwhile, the man is surprised that he can still move. Before he could react, the spellcaster throws a world-destroying thunder that blasts his body. He was being offered mercy but forced the young man's hand. Now, his body is devoured and turns into mere nourishment until nothing is left on the ground. Another masked man later inspects the site where the archer was killed. Considering the different element traces, he thinks more than one person acted. He reports back to his boss and says he'll investigate more. At a certain residence in the city, Alex stands by the gate and looks for Yin. Since he's met with silence, he goes ahead and tears the gate right off its hinges. The commotion makes the blacksmith run out and tell the trespasser to put the gate back on. Instead, the young man confirms his identity and throws the metal bars at his body. Several guards respond to the attack, but they're nothing against his forbidden ice magic. Unable to move, they question who he is and why he's attacking. Yin is told to call Yingfa and Heping, and finally realizes who the boy is. The 2 old men arrive at his home some time later, completely oblivious as to why they were called there. Shock spreads across their faces when they see Alex, introducing himself as the one they hired an assassin to kill. The 3 men get into an argument about who's at fault, so the young one says he isn't there for revenge, but serious business. He wants them to reforge an epic-grade rainbow-piercing bow. While they're stunned, they all insist that they aren't good enough to handle such equipment. Alex walks away and tells them to figure something out together, but they continue to reason and say that they aren't even all blacksmiths. A threatening bolt of lightning strikes the pond, and he asks again if his request can be done. They all give a thumbs up, understanding that it isn't really a question. The three are told to call him when they're done. Terrified of the consequences of failure, the old men get to work, sweating and doing all they can to deliver what was being asked. Relief and pride washes over when they successfully forge the bow. Aside from the additional stats, the bow has a skill that doubles power and ignored defense for close-range shots. The men cautiously ask if he'll let them go. Fortunately, Alex is a man of his word and leaves peacefully. He later arrives at the Jin family mansion. The owners are confused, thinking that was just in his room all this time. Remembering his clone, he makes a vague excuse and says he'd like to hire a bodyguard, given the city's atmosphere. He leaves it to Luke, who'll have it arranged by the next day. Alex plans to use a new identity to be the bodyguard and appear with his clone. Luke gathers a bunch of fighters for hire, saying he's in need of a top-tier bodyguard. The final candidates are called after several screenings, and their job is to protect a figure who's been stirring up a storm in the city. Alex was among the roster, making full use of his disguise to blend in. The last stage is a combat test against each other. Saying he's in a hurry, the forbidden spellcaster stepped forward and asked everyone to come at once. They're shocked by the arrogant statement, but Luke can't help but see his master's boldness in him. Angrily called out by the insulted fighters, Alex says it's the perfect chance to test out his new bow. They close the distance, thinking it's the best way to fight an archer. Tired of all the talk, he shoots a fiery arrow at the group. The speed is terrifying, but one tanker moves fast enough to raise his shield and block. He's sent meters back by the impact of the attack. Realizing just how dangerous he is, they all band together and agree to fight each other after. The shield is raised again as they charge forward. However, this puts them in the bow's range for the defense-piercing skill. The arrow flew forward and bore a hole through the shield, as well as the man's torso. Unable to believe that such a thing is possible, the man is sent crashing. The others use this chance to strike together in close range, oblivious that the bow can also be used as a melee weapon. They suffer serious wounds to their bodies in the blink of an eye. Unwilling to die for a job, they all give up on the position. As expected, Alex is the last one standing. Luke is impressed and says they'll provide a generous salary. He's certain that his master will be satisfied, unaware that the hired bodyguard is his master in disguise. A deep horn blew in the forest outside Quora. As countless monster silhouettes appeared by the border of the city, Hong and his men watched and waited from above. He confirms that his daughter was safe at home. Someone asks if this is okay, as the city can't withstand the amount of monsters they brought. However, this is the only way to draw Lingay out of hiding, and one city is a small sacrifice for the Apocalypse Gate. After all, the ancient artifact must go to their family, no matter what. The investigation bureau was in Yin's home, which vanished into thin air with his family. Since he was forging a bow before that happened, they looked into the long bow users in the city. Hearing about the bodyguard job for Alex, they head to the Jin mansion, wondering why all these cases are somehow connected to him. There, they see the master and his brand new bodyguard. Asked what it's about, they tell the archer that he's a suspect in Yin's murder. Jun is told to provide evidence, so he points to the red bow, which is the best proof there is. Just then, the body of water near them rose and spoke. When they urgently call out, a masked man appears, warning the Bureau of the monster attack and telling them to evacuate civilians. The investigator knows he isn't lying, so he just demands an explanation as to what was happening. An ominous howl rang across the land, and the man disappeared without an explanation. Since the warning was without a doubt true, the Bureau officers move, saying they'll come back for the archer later. Alex thinks about the ruined city in the Apocalypse Gate, which might be caused by this attack. Sirens and alerts hit the city, telling civilians to head to the portal right away. Eligible job changers are then ordered to assemble by the city walls. People run as fast as possible, and some can't help but long for Zora's willful and inspiring presence. Meanwhile, Alex wonders what to do. He takes the pouch left by his master, remembering that there's one more left. Inside is a message, telling him to do what his heart says. He's reminded of how profound his master is. Since the enemies are looking for Lingyi, he puts on his mask to give them what they want. The drums of war are struck endlessly, telling the fighters to assemble. Commanders lead the troops onto their stations, telling them to prepare for war. Just then, the demonic horde comes rushing towards the city walls, and it becomes clear why their society lives behind them. The officials have asked for help, but no one has responded to their call. Even the city lord was there, grumbling over how the powerful see human lives as mere numbers. Flying to the sky, he calls to his compatriots and gives a speech, enjoining them all to stand together and protect their home against demonic beasts. Their lives are tied to the city, and he'll lead the charge himself. The army of job changers roar with a deafening war cry, prepared to fight to the death without retreat. Following a huge explosion, Lingyi finally shows himself to the people. They're stunned by how strong and terrifying his power is, so much so that they actually regain the hope of winning the battle. Burning the demonic beasts, He calls on everyone to help him drive out the swarm and defend their land. Meanwhile, Hong is told that their target has finally arrived on the scene. Satisfied with the plan's progress, he orders his people to proceed. They charged on, tearing through the waves of monsters and making people think that they're another set of reinforcements. However, they're not attacking the enemies, but forcing their way through them. Alex sees them going for his clone and decides to have some fun. Surrounded and asked why he isn't running anymore, the fake Lingy laughs maniacally, saying he's failed his dear master. They realize that he's about to self-destruct, but it's too late to stop him. A huge explosion blasts them all. However, the attack doesn't kill anyone and just leaves a huge crater on the ground. While the masked men are confused as to what to do, Alex is surprised that he failed to injure even one of them. Still, he should be able to cover things with the self-destruction. His plan is interrupted as a familiar voice called, "It's Nini," vowing to bury them all with her father's disciple. She jumped down, refusing to head to the portal and escape with the main group, and revealed a glowing artifact in her hand. Inheriting her father's wishes, Zora's memory will live or die with the city. The power of the heavenly stars descended from above, and people stared up in awe of the astral array. Countless beams of light rained from the sky and hit the land. Targets are left encased in stone, unable to move from Zora's attack from the other side. The job changers take this chance to fight back. They hack and break the immobilized bodies, doing their best to deal as much damage as possible. However, Nini's own body was breaking from the weight of using the artifact. It's far more than she can handle. While the others worry about Zora's daughter, the masked men urgently work together to break through the suppression. Syncing their thoughts and gathering their power, they miraculously managed to free themselves from the astral casing. With this, they were free to attack Nini, who was vulnerable from holding the spell together. She closed her eyes, ready to be reunited with her father soon. Alex redirects the arrow and catches Nini as she falls. Still in a daze, she dreams of meeting her father again. Despite their dislike for each other, he can't just watch her die. He's sick of the enemies and was determined to end them now. He imbues his arrow with the power to deliver heavenly punishment, sacrificing his lineage for the temporary strength to slay gods. The masked man summoned his own power to counteract. Surprisingly enough, he's strong enough to defend against the divine arrow, and is more surprised that there's another expert who's capable of blocking his attack from earlier. One of the enemies charged forward, eager to handle the situation. Alex was standing over Nini, in awe of how his old master had another divine artifact hidden away. He tries to use it, but there seems to be a bloodline restriction placed. Apologizing, he takes some from Zora's daughter and uses it to activate the item. With full control, he rose to the sky and cast endless starlight, calling on the power of the heavens. His pursuer is struck and incinerated right where he stood. The others realize that they have no chance at victory and try to retreat, but the entire area was being consumed by the astral flare, disintegrating everything it touched. With this, all the monsters and enemies are wiped out in an instant. The humans looked on, doubting the fact that they won. Finally, the city lord screams and announces their victory. People rejoiced and attributed their safety to Zora, who helped even in death. Meanwhile, Alex returns the artifact to Nini, wanting nothing to do with it. He hears someone coughing nearby and sees the leader of the enemies, who miraculously survived. Despite his actions, he thanks Alex for saving the city and says he had no choice. He's offered a chance to live in exchange for a favor. While they talk, the masked men report back to Hong. Just then, Chenlo emerged from the bushes. Holding a tied-up piece of cloth, he delivers the head of their target. He explains that the man who moved beneath the city walls had no connection to the incident. After thinking about it for a while, the boss swiftly reached out and grabbed him by the neck. Indignant as the child he raised now had the gall to lie to him. As he struggles and vows that he isn't, the other subordinates kneel, asking Hong to spare him as they need manpower. He lets him go, telling him to expect no mercy if there's a next time. With the god organization involved, they have to move carefully. As such, the men are dismissed and told to wait for his call. They fall back as ordered and Chenlo tries to speak to his master, but moves to catch him as he sees the old man's body collapsing. The two of them retreat to the mansion, but Hong doesn't want anyone to know that he's injured. He was hurt by the astral attack that none of them expected. Although he refused to take this without taking revenge, his body's condition was far from ready. Outside Korra City, the cleanup crew lugged monster corpses onto trucks for transport. While they seemed to never run out, Alex strolled around, silently devouring the corpses, and finally reaching level 50, which allows him to create forbidden spells every 10 levels. Testing it out, he tries to sacrifice something menial to bring a dead person to life. The exchange doesn't seem sufficient enough to make it work, so it suggests a similar skill that sacrifices half his HP to summon a deceased creature. He gets the brilliant idea of calling Zora back to life, but holds off on it for now since the undead will be far weaker than the original. He heads back home to rest after the long day. Sometime later, parents gathered as it was finally time to start the academic semester. Both Alexes stood there, with the clone acting as the student. The original kept his disguise as a bodyguard to attend school beside his double. They notice Nini walking toward them, but she's more interested in the bodyguard. His life signature assures her that he's the one who saved her life. She's told not to think too much about it, but she dislikes being indebted, so she hands him her contact details in case he needs help. With an invite to go to the Supreme Academy, he promises to go, but not for her. They part ways just like that, and, soon enough, Wang instructs them all to take their first step to their universities. A handful of people are given priority departure as new students of the Supreme Academy. After them, the rest are called on to enter the portal array, and are all consumed by a brilliant flash of light. Daxia Academy is stunningly magnificent. Since it's safe here, Alex decides to swap bodies with his clone, and takes on the role of the student for now. He soon after runs into Luke, who's been waiting for him for ages. While they talked about taking a tour around the campus, a beautiful woman approached. As a sophomore, Hana kindly offers to take them to register. After exchanging introductions and moving along, she gives a thorough tour of the general area, even volunteering to help them sign in at the help desk. She hands their documents over to the teacher, who takes note of Alex and asks why the nation's top scorer isn't in the Supreme Academy. He frankly says that they didn't want a forbidden sorcerer. Fortunately, Daxia doesn't care about that, and they move on to check their levels. People gasp when he's shown as level 28, which is almost at the level of sophomores. In fact, Hana was level 18 when she entered school. Little did they know that he's actually level 50. Still, the odd case makes it difficult for the teacher to place him in an appropriate class. A peer notices and asks what was wrong. He isn't as surprised by the boy's level in class, and instead thinks about where to put him. Finally, he suggests Professor Shen, who hasn't had a student in 5 years. He's researching longevity art all the time, which is perfect for a forbidden sorcerer. That said, all his students have ended up either mentally unstable or disabled. Alex asks if the professor is weak. While he has strength, the issue is his eccentric logic and research. He once had a Black Knight student. He gave him a skill that doubled his combat power, but lost his head in return. Throughout the years, several similar incidents followed with all his students. To their surprise, Alex personally asks to be put in the strange man's class. They're doubtful, but humor him as they can change it later. He even shares that he's an orphan, meaning no parents will come complaining. With this, they part ways with Luke for now, and head to Shen's lab with Hana. She points to a building nearby, saying she won't go in with him. The bodyguard clone is told to level up on his own, so the student is free to come to the door alone. He hasn't even entered, but he already hears odd screaming from inside. Entering the lab, Alex introduces himself as the professor's new student. Shen is surprised, even asking if he's crazy to come there himself. On the contrary, he came there because of his reputation. As a forbidden mage, he doesn't have many years to live, but his research on longevity might just save his life. The young man does his best to convince the professor to take him in. He slowly looks up and is surprised as Shen grabs him, saying he lost everything and was ridiculed for years. Now, he's overjoyed to find someone who understands him. As soon as the student is accepted as an official mentee, the professor hands him a scroll of his latest invention, which grants immunity to all physical and magical attacks. No one wants it, since activation makes the user's body decompose into atoms. It doesn't hurt anyone and is purely defensive. It sounds ridiculous, but Alex praises the odd invention, prompting the professor to show him another scroll. It's a reverse engineering skill that's invaluable to him. It's like they've found their kindred spirit in each other. Intrigued, he asks to study the true potential of all his other skills. Shen excitedly rummaged through his decades-old boxes. One scroll rolls to the student's feet, and he's surprised by what he sees. When he gives a brilliant suggestion, the innovator is amazed by his mind and decides that they are no longer student and master, but best friends. Alex spends a long time with him. Even when leaving, he thinks about studying more skills with Shen soon. A week later, it's time to enter the Crying Soul secret realm. The Dean of Daxia Academy appears. Everyone is in awe of Bing, who holds 16 different titles. He explains the prize of the assessment, which is 10,000 Academy credits. Such an amount can even get one legendary grade gear. After forming groups, they'll be accompanied by a sophomore for safety. Alex wonders if anyone would even want to group up with him. After all, no one would want a forbidden mage in their party. That is, except Luke, of course. He pulls his master to his group, certain they'll take him, but Tien argues the moment he sees him and refuses such a member. Even if they're friends, they can't gamble their future for connections. They even compare a forbidden mage to useless trash. Alex stops him from persisting, understanding their qualms about it. As things died down, the sorcerer swiped a strand of their hair, intending to use it for a cursed spell. Luke remains loyal and leaves to join his master. He eventually gets dragged away before he could start a fight. Considering the academy's size, they hope to find 3 more people to invite. Tien walks away to look for more members, but he doesn't get far before he falls to the ground while clutching his stomach. Some time passes and Luke walks back to his master with pride. He introduces their new members, Wenyu, Shuyu, and Duan. They don't look like the strongest bunch, but it doesn't matter. Now that they're all there, it was finally time to head out. At the entrance of the portal, they see Hana, who's surprised to see that he's unscathed after a month with Shen. Not prying anymore, she introduces herself as their safety officer, who will help in case of danger. After confirming her instructions, they stepped into the gate together. The inside is bleak, and just finding their targets seemed to be a big challenge. Shuyu volunteers to lead the way since his defense is high. Later on, Luke groans, saying it felt like they were walking in circles all this time. Alex stops and shares that they might be trapped in an illusion. While it isn't explicit, it does explain them being lost for so long. Hana is pleasantly surprised by the students' sharp senses. Duan says she'll figure out if they're trapped, and sends spore-like particles in the air. Them not showing signs of poisoning is big evidence that they really are trapped. Apparently, she made them take a toxin that paralyzed one's body for a few dozen seconds. The revelation infuriates Luke, who has to be dragged away. Hana wonders how long it'll take them to break free. Suddenly, Alex wants to lead, and asks everyone to close their eyes. After this, they'll trail behind him while he walks ahead on his own. However, this leaves them vulnerable to beast attacks. A large snake-like enemy appeared from the cave and hissed at them. The officer worries as it might take them out of commission. Even with his eyes closed, Alex senses the beast and leapt up to dodge. He's found the culprit, and now it was tied to punish it hard. He punches the beast's cheek and sends him flying. Hana couldn't believe it, as he didn't even use a spell. In the conference room, the dean is called on urgently. It's not an accident, but he's told to look at the screen. On the screen is the freshman, who just one-shot a soul-devouring beast. Being asked to see his file and know who his mentor is. Told that it's the one and only Shen, his expression turns into shock. Suddenly void of composure, he screams and confirms what he heard. The other students are in awe of what Alex just did. Inside the beast's body is their first soul crystal. Since the illusion is dispelled, Shuyu is asked to take the lead once more. They walked forward and soon encountered a slime monster. It launches an attack and lunges at them, so the tanker raises his shield to defend. The slime splatters to the back where the others are ready to fight, but it'd be best not to waste energy on them. A while later, Alex senses something fast approaching. He tells everyone to watch out and be cautious, as a soul-devouring beast has appeared again. It snaked around the area, and there seemed to be a person hiding by its head. Hana worries, since the beast is at least level 45, it'll be too much for freshmen, so she steps up to fight it alone. Aiming straight at the enemy, she shot green tendrils forward, but Luke suddenly appeared where the monster used to be. She's shocked, more so when he tells her to stop her attack, just inches away from him. Her head is confused, and she has no idea what happened. She might have fallen under an illusion as well. Similarly, the other members were having similar problems, and they won't get anywhere if they don't break the illusion. When the sophomore attacks her own leg, the illusion fades and she sees the beast right in front of her. Clasping her hands together, she summons the wood dragon, which is much bigger than the enemy. It roared as it opened its maw, but crashes to the ground, unsuccessful, as the demon scurried away in time. Unfortunately, a level 45 monster is too fast to catch. Pain breaks the illusion, so they decide to wound themselves and run at the same time. While they do this, Alex disappears from their sight, and Luke only notices when they finish. She considers him her responsibility as the officer. However, no one can come help as the gate is impossible to open. Until the time is up, she questions why such a high-level beast was there. With no reinforcements, the students offer to work together and survive, since no one from outside can enter. While Hana is touched by the gesture, the rain comes unexpectedly. What's more, they couldn't move at all. It was Duan's temporary poison, which she used to prevent others from stopping her. Their screams to tell her that the plan is too dangerous falls on deaf ears. Meanwhile, Alex was breezing through the cave, spending his time getting chased by the soul devourer. He lured it there, but it still wanted to fight him. But all it could do, now that it's achieved its purpose, is die. He wonders how many fun things are in the secret realm. While walking around, he hears sobbing and sees a woman nearby. When she says her boyfriend broke up with her, he kindly offers to take the spot in her heart himself. She's delighted by his generosity and asks if he's really okay with it. His tone goes cold as he raises her body by the neck. It was a soul devourer, disguised to fool and seduce him. He throws it at the wall and takes it out, but its small body isn't enough to fill up his devour skill. Before he could absorb it, a stern voice orders him to stop. Another group appears, saying they discovered the beast first and demand to have it back, but their logic of owning things they saw first was flawed. Despite Alex's provocation, a woman tries to reason with him calmly, saying they've been chasing the enemy this whole time. He argues that they failed to catch it, which is why it's in his hands now. Taking the crystal inside, he tells them to find another one instead. Tensions heighten as they get irked by his arrogance. One member tells them to be careful not to kill anyone, but they spread out and surround the young man regardless. Summoning their power, they threaten and force him to surrender the crystal. Alex is just surprised that this doesn't go against any rules. One of the students finally struck, ordering his large energy projection to swing its blade. It's powerful, but its blade is stopped mid-air by a couple of the target's fingers. They couldn't believe it. Still, another group member ambushed from the side, wanting to attack together. While his arm is stopped by Alex's other hand, he doesn't mind, as he just wanted to give his comrades an opening to strike. The remaining casters shoot spells from far away, aiming at the mage who was already defending against two people.